Wah, 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 wah. If that doesn't give you pumped up, you are going to have to turn in your Trek card.
You're dead inside.
Yeah.
If that doesn't inspire you, you're dead inside.
Yes, I'm going to make up a word and get in trouble with the grammar police right now. If that doesn't inspire you, or uninspirable. Welcome, my dear friends. Before we say some hellos and do some show notes, I'm going to stop speaking in a ridiculous Queen's English accent and ask everyone to bid hello to my fantastic, amazing, best, greatest of all time, bestest ever, first officer in the fleet, the amazing Commander Raquel Briggs, everyone.
Oh, that's such a warm welcome. And you know what? I wouldn't be anything without my captain. Best damn captain in the whole fleet. And hail to the whole chat. The chat is bumping. Good evening, everyone.
Chat. Yeah, we're going to say some hellos to you all in just a second. And then we're going to try to get going fast because we've got five. We're doing, these are the special, this is a special edition, folks. A special edition of Star Trek. Let's see here. But first, we'll do a little show note and just one real quick here. Monday night, and I don't want to say, I hate to set everything on sort of a dour note, but you know, we gotta kind of do that. Monday night would have been the birthday of our wonderful, dear departed friend, the amazing, the extraordinary Mark C. And Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk. But we're going to celebrate his birthday and try to have some fun with it because I know he would have loved this topic. We're going to talk about his favorite comic book artist, John Byrne. We'll be joined by my good buddy, the great Steve Mitchum. And we're going to celebrate our buddy. So we're going to talk about his favorite artist and some other things. He loves comic book art, you all know. So I'm not trying to bring everyone down here, of course, like that. It's always a bummer. Chokes me up just to talk about it, but we're going to celebrate him because we loved him. So
Yeah.
So Tail Mark C.
Love seeing those M's in the chat. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, yes, indeed. Thank you. So I haven't got to them yet. I've got to make sure I got everybody here. Let me see. Okay. All right. Well, you know what, everyone? What we're going to do is because we have we have five. We're going to get going a little bit quicker, but we're going to say our hellos because we love you. We wouldn't be here without you and our wonderful chat, all of you amazing folks. But I was just kind of getting everyone together so I would know who is here, because it's you guys are really piling in, and we just really appreciate you. Yeah. So let me make sure I got everybody, and then I will. Let's see here. Almost there, and then we're about to start. Sorry, everyone. Oh, man.
That's okay.
I wanted to get ready so I do it right. You don't like to miss anybody. So, again, thank you, everyone. The great Mark C. appreciates it, I know. I know he's looking down on us. He's probably looking down on me and go, dude, will you just get on with it? So, knowing him. All right, buddies. Well, again, okay, here we go. And before we get started, I want to say a big Clobberin Time Saturday Night Star Trek hello to the great Lord Thoth. What's up, buddy?
LT!
What's up, man? Always a pleasure, sir. And great member of the Global Geek Gang he is. Which, by the way, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central Open Talk, and Thursday, 1 p.m. Central Global Geek Gang. Snortopoopas Cuber. Snorty.
Snortopoopas!
Cuber. Phantom Outsider. Welcome, sir.
So nice to see you.
A big shout out to the great Eric K. Hey, bro.
Hey, Eric. Mwah,
mwah, appreciate you, man. Appreciate y'all. You did what you were doing for me last night, my brother. It does not go unappreciated here, man. Thank you so much. And same goes to you, Mr. Chris Persia. Both what you guys were trying to help me with last night. I love you guys and appreciate you. You are
love you.
You guys are great clobberers. Also, the great Felicianos, as in Raymond and Sandra.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hail to the Felicianos. Dynamic duo.
Indeedishness. My good buddy, my new friend, J-Man was here. I think you said something about maybe having to run, but if you're still there, J-Man, either way, a big shout out to you. It is always a pleasure to have you pop in, sir.
Oops, thank you for stopping by. And come back if you have time.
Yes, J-Man, appreciate you, man. Dark Shadow Logan. Hello.
Oh, nice to see you.
Always good to see you, sir. Another great pal, the great Pat. Say, buddy.
Yes, Pat. I
Hey,
haven't seen
man.
you all week. It's so good to see you.
Yes, indeed. Oh, there you go. J-Man. I'm glad you're here, buddy. Good
Oh,
to see you, sir.
good. Good. He is still here. Yeah.
Indeedishness. JT Kirk. Hello, sir. Thank
Yes.
you. Always a pleasure, sir. Liger fan. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. I've just everybody is just leaving such beautiful and kind and wonderful comments about Mark, about the show, about us as individuals. Just all of you. I love you guys.
Indeed. Oh, they are. We got such a great crew here. The great Steve Mitchum, yo, brother. Looking forward to talking to you
Yeah.
Monday night, bud. Ilagabulas. I hope I'm getting them better at that, my friend. It's a twister there. I love you, man. I appreciate you. Phoenix Argus. Welcome.
Yeah.
It is good to see you here. D-Bud Martin, my new pal. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Let's see. J.R. Bailey, I believe, is here. Mr. Bailey. I want to thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Oh, also, wow, there the great Mark D with a C.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, buddy. Good to see you there. Brad Fisher.
Hey, Brad's here.
Welcome.
That's great.
I hope I'm not missing anyone here. I'm just making sure because we're going to get rolling in a sec. But I just want I hate to miss anybody ever. So let me just make sure. You know how my dumb chat thingy is. Let's see here.
I got kicked last week, so yeah.
Oh yeah, just
Perfect, isn't
damn
it?
StreamYards. Yeah, it's not the. It doesn't help that I'm blind. Well, anyway, what a great crew, what a great crowd we have here tonight. It is fantastic to see you. Let's see here. I think we've. Anyone else who pops in, folks, just consider yourself greeted warmly and kindly, and pull up a chair and hang with us because we're about to get rolling. We have 5 episodes tonight. This is the penultimate CLOBBERIN Saturday Night Star Trek for reviewing Star Trek: The Original Series. Essing!
Hey, Ash just walks through the door. Sashri Akal.
Eshi. Did you see you there, brother? Okay, man. Let's see here. Let's see, man. Yeah, man, we got you, buddy. No problem, SC. Good, SC. Good to see you there, brother. All right, I think we're caught up now. Okay. All right. Let's see. Tonight we start with.
Oh,
We're in the
season
third
3.
Yeah. Oh, season 3. Well, well, I guess we just all you can do is just get a rolling, right? So, number one, I throw it over to your capable hands to bring us out of orbit.
All right. So if you're just joining us and you've never been here before, and maybe you're not in the live chat, maybe you're just listening as a podcast. Right now, there is a visual on screen of a book cover, Star Trek 365, the original series written by Paula M. Block and Terry J. Erdman, her husband. And this book was blessed by DC Fontana. So we use this wonderful book because it facilitates a pretty darn good podcast. We get a little bit of summary, and we also get some behind the scenes information that is verified. So rather than relying on user generated forms and guessing at these layers of lore, and sometimes they're not always correct, especially Memory Alpha these days. We're using this text. So I read from it, and then our wonderful Captain Clobby comes in with information, and he adds to that, and then I add my information, and we talk about it, and then we have this wonderful chat. The best group of nerds and geeks on the internet. In private, I call them the 735 Club. It's what my husband and I refer to this chat as, because they are the great lovers of the original 735. So they're they're so knowledgeable and wonderful, and they join in. So between the book, Captain Clobby, myself, and this amazing Club 735, we flesh out each and every single episode, 66 to 05. Did I lose you, Clobby? Or did I lose myself?
That was me. I'm sorry. I forgot to unmute when I was doing something.
That's okay.
Sorry, everyone. Indeed, though. Yes. And our first episode this evening is, of course, Let that be your last battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Well, again, buckle up, everyone. I can hear some exasperation there. I wonder what that means.
Let
Oh,
That Be Your
my.
Last Battlefield is season 3, episode 15 in broadcast order. But around here, we cover the episodes through their production order. Not only because that's the way the cast filmed them, the cast and the production filmed them, but because that's the way this text works. So we're on prod code 70. We have gone through 70 episodes. Can you guys believe it?
Wow.
Yeah. And if you're reading along at home with that block text, we're going to begin reading from the tile number 315, 316. And we call it a tile instead of a page because this is the most awkward book in the history of books. It is very needlessly compact, and it looks like a brick. Clobby calls it a brick, and it does look like a brick. And I will say this. This book was never meant to be read. I don't even know how this binding happened and how this spine happened, but I will tell you this. Last week, it finally cracked. So I actually lost the spine on this book.
Oops.
So I hope you have enjoyed hearing this book. And I'm so glad that I got to read it all to you. If you have a chance to order this book, please go ahead and do. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. But please be careful with the spine because it's a brick, exactly like Clobby said. It is an awkward brick of a book.
And speaking of reading, there's the link. I forgot it earlier because I'm a dummy. Of the works of our fantastic first officer. A link in the chat there, please. You can check out and find her wonderful works of fiction, science fiction, right?
Yes.
Right
yes,
there.
I write short story science fiction. Usually they're between a 2 and a 3 minute read. They're just you go on a little bit of a science fiction adventure.
Indeedishness. Well, there you go. And there's a link right there, everyone. Continue. I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but I totally forgot to do that at the beginning. Okay.
No, that's okay. I don't mind at all. Okay, so I'm reading extemporaneously. It's very important that I should let everyone know that I don't sit at home for hours a day pre-reading this stuff and practicing it. So extemporaneous reading and then discussion.
Indeed.
315, 316. The Enterprise intercepts a stolen shuttlecraft and its sole passenger, a native of the planet Sharon named Lokai. He requests political asylum from the Federation, claiming that he is a victim of racial persecution on his homeworld. Not long after, the Enterprise receives a second representative from Sharon, Beale, an officer of Sharon's Commission on Political Traders. Beale wants Kirk to turn Lokai over to him, but Kirk refuses. A frustrated Beale attempts to convince the Enterprise crew that Lokai's criminal nature is inherent and his physical appearance, black on his left side and white on his right. Beale, a member of Chiron's ruling class, is black on the right side and white on the left, which apparently makes him all of the difference to Sharon. Or makes all the difference on Sharon, sorry. When Kirk and company fail to comprehend the value of that difference, Beale decides to force Kirk's hand by taking control of the Enterprise. In 1965, the streets of South Central Los Angeles erupted in racial conflagration that in the aftermath became known as the Watts Riots. Reacting to perceived injustices perpetrated against them by the power struggle of the city, including the police, the African American residents of the area took to the streets. The result was a 6-day period of violent unrest in which 34 people were killed, hundreds were injured, and millions of dollars worth of property was destroyed. Memories of that event prompted Star Trek writer Gene L. Kuhn to sketch out a story outline that he titled A Portrait in Black and White, which examined racial prejudice in its simplest terms, leaving out all politically arguable shades of gray. Kuhn was not the first writer to create a portrait of the problem in such simplistic terms. Here, Beale, being black on the right or correct side. As early as 1726, Jonathan Swift fabricated 2 opposing political parties in his work Gulliver's Travels. The Big Ends and their foes were at war, fighting over which of their hard-boiled eggs should be opened for eating. As ridiculous as that seems, it perfectly described the triviality of the real-life political problems Swift was allegorizing. Prejudice, after all, is prejudice, and injustice is injustice, all of which Kuhn understood. The executives at NBC rejected the outline, stating that the story did not fit into the Star Trek concept. The rejection did not please Kuhn or his egalitarian boss, Gene Roddenberry, but they set it aside, hoping a day might come when the outline could be expanded into script and then produced. The conglomerate that someday would be known as Gulf and Western Industries had its roots in a manufacturer of automobile bumpers in 1934. By the mid-1960s, G&W had grown a huge diversified corporation that included clothing manufacturers, sugar plantations, cigar companies, financial services, record production, and book sales. At that point, the behemoth decided to break into showbiz, and as of 1966 faded into 1967, the company purchased both Desilu Productions and Paramount Pictures. As it had with every previous acquisition, G&W managed its first order of business of cost-cutting productions. As Star Trek geared up for its third season, Paramount's new overseers, looking for ways to tighten up the show's budget, spotted what they felt was an easy target. They deemed that rather than pay for new story ideas, the rejected story ideas on file would be resurrected. Among them was an outline titled A Portrait in Black and White. By this time, the outline's prolific writer, Gene L. Kuhn, had left the series, so Oliver Crawford, who previously had co-written the Galileo 7, was hired to turn out a script. Crawford discovered that the story nugget within the outline suffered from a lack of action, and that the premise itself was a mite short of an hour-long episode. Given the reduced budget and the limited production time, the creative staff did what they could, but no one was happy with it. And in fact, Kuhn asked that they put his pen name, Lee Cronin, in the final product. And they never did resolve the problem of not enough story to fill in the hour, which is why so much of that of the time is devoted to Beale and Lokai running through the Enterprise corridors, chasing and chasing and chasing. Perhaps the most suspenseful moment in all of Star Trek came when Captain Kirk activated the Enterprise's self-destruct mechanism in Let That Be Your Last Battlefield. The tension mounted, enhanced by cuts to extreme close-ups of the characters' eyes and mouths as the officers recited the crucial authorization codes. And then it goes through the dialogue. And then it says, in a wonderful moment of continuity within the franchise, this sequence would be used in almost exactly the same way, except for a change in personnel, reflecting the officers on hand in the feature film Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. Of course, in Battlefield, the crew and the audience knew that Kirk was adept at playing poker and would likely win a match in time to deactivate the order. In the feature film, Kirk had deadlier intentions and fewer choices. And sadly, that beautiful ship did explode in one of Star Trek's most indelible visual moments. And that is all the block text has to say on Let That Be Your Last Battlefield. Well, chat and Captain Clobby, what did you think of this coverage?
By the way, hail Justin of the Red Shirt. Good to see you, bud.
Hey, welcome.
I thought it was pretty interesting coverage. Like the episode itself. One of the things I can always said about this episode, there are things in it I like, but the episode is about as subtle as I'm going to quote the great Blackadder here, about as subtle as a rhinoceros horn up the backside.
Yeah.
As in, it's not very subtle, but that again, I'm mostly just kind of having a little fun with that. That's okay. I mean, it's not something that bothers me all of that much, but there are definitely some really illogical moments in this episode in terms of writing that has come up far more often than not in the third season, when it's the kind of thing that never really got at me all that much in the first two seasons. I mean, obviously every show, even really good ones, you can nitpick apart for certain things, but usually,
here it's glaringly obvious that
yes.
DC Fontana and both Jeans have left the building. Like, so if this is your first time tuning into this show, what Clobby's getting at is that the third season is the corporate version of the original Star Trek. So this is the executives inserting themselves into the IP, and the nucleus, the core people who were involved with the show, both Jeans and DC Fontana, actually walked away from the show. They were hurt, and they just wanted to get to the 79 so they could go into syndication. So yeah, Clubby, it's a rapid departure from that first and second season of quality writing, isn't it?
It is, and it shows even in episodes that may have a pretty good idea or a good good crumb of a good idea here and there, or some good concepts and good moments. It shows because it sometimes in the absolute sloppiness, and sometimes there are times when things will happen or be said that I'm going, I don't know, a more cunning writer, a better show producer would look at that. That's, for example, all right, Beale and Lokai have been running around doing this for 50,000 years. Okay. Yeah. Right there, I'm like, whoa. Look, I know it's the 60s, by the way. That's the kind of line I would kind of tail that back a little bit. If it's just to get 50,000.
Yeah.
It stretches credulity. Also, again, right now, I'm the core idea is solid. It's a fine idea because Star Trek did and should always deal with those types of issues. The issue I have no problem with. In fact, I'm always very happy with it. It's the kind of thing I like to see. And incidentally, I should point out, I love Frank Gorshin. He's an absolute genius as a comedian and actor. Yeah. Everyone knows him. He is absolutely so brilliant on Batman as the Riddler. And he's good here. Because he's great. I mean, I love that guy. So just seeing him in a Trek episode, at the time when I first saw it, way back when, I already was in love with the Batman TV show. Seeing him on there, it's extraordinary. So I love Gorshin. The Struck sequence scene, for example, pretty good scene. I'm not all that sanguine about how it was filmed, but a pretty good Kirk scene. Mm-hmm. But a little bit later, when it comes time to get the ship back on course, when the ship they think the ship is on course, but it's not. And then when Beale takes control of the ship again, he's disabled this thing. So Kirk can't pull the same trick.
That's right.
Well, wait a minute, why didn't he do that before then?
Yeah.
When that's going on before, I don't know. Again, I don't mind that kind of stuff if something is really, really very well done and so entertaining, I can forgive it. But sometimes it really stands out. And I'm like, are you guys really even thinking about what you're writing? This is some lazy writing. If you could call it a nitpick if you want to, that's fine. It is. I admit it. But stuff like that grates on my nerves sometimes when I'm like, I don't know, 50,000 years. I don't know. Some of this, by the way, another thing they've been doing in this season, someone will have these telekinetic powers or whatever they are. I mean, are they telekinetic? I don't know. He could just he could make the Enterprise do whatever the hell he wants. Yeah. I don't know what you would call that because they don't define it. They don't explain what those powers are. That's not very
It's more
Trek.
Science fantasy than it's science fiction. And you can see that a corporation has taken over the IP, and all of the genuine people of craft have left the room. And of course, no one likes to hang out in a house that's burning.
Yes, and again, only a fool fights in a burning house. And see, there you go. Again, it's sort of like willy-nilly. Trek is usually more mindful. If someone can do something, they give you, at least something close to a scientific or logical or rational explanation for it. This is just like, and I love comic books. This is a comic book thing. It's like, hey, the guy's got powers. Even in comics, they usually tell you how the guy got the powers. These guys who have these faces like that and are from this planet and have lived 50,000 years just have these, boom, they just have these powers. And again, it's fantastic and fine. Like in Day of the Dove, for example, no one has any problem accepting it. This is a completely non-corporeal life form that we don't understand, and that works.
It does.
These are just two humanoids
Yes.
who have painted faces that look just like humans aside from that, and they can control starships.
Yeah.
Again, call me up Mr. Picky, but some stuff like that.
Well, if you can
stretches it a little bit
control
for me.
a starship, why would you need to chase someone down a corridor?
That is a good point. Why do you need to steal a shuttlecraft? I mean, how do you get caught, by the way? I mean, I don't know. The Loki may not have had those powers, but I don't know. But he's pretty powerful in the sense that he's been getting away for 50,000 years.
Yeah. And 50,000 years is a long time to undo a planet filled with people of these mental and physical abilities. You know, why not just take all of the zeros off?
Yeah, just say, a long time.
Or just 5 years, maybe.
Yes, whatever. Yeah, something more
maybe
rational.
5 months. Because if you could put your hands on something, like a Galaxy class starship, right. Constitution class starship, and you can control it. Like it's just you can definitely tell this is corporate writing, not genuine writing. And I speak to that quite a lot. Whenever you put a corporation in between a reader and an author, you get crap, you get poo, lots and lots of poo.
Yeah, well, again, because you just get this, you get this impression that somebody's sitting there and doesn't, who just approves that crap. Because even the actors and everything not going to say much, I guess, sometimes. But they figure, like, it's just a silly space show. Just do whatever. We don't care. Just put that in there. Whereas I think if Roddenberry was sitting there and, calling all the shots and someone put that in the script, he'd go, what do you mean 50,000? Why can this guy control? He would probably... We don't know him for sure, but I get the impression Gene Roddenberry and Gino could be like that. We're going, tell me why this guy can control a spaceship starship and then why he doesn't do it before when Kirk...
yeah, he definitely wouldn't have passed the sniff test. And there is no doubt that the two Genes and Fontana worked, and DC worked together to with this fabulous production team to create these things. And sometimes it was a matter of the hive mind. It was them saying, hey, we could do this. And then somebody saying, well, yeah, but let's do this instead. Or, oh yeah, let's do this. And it turned into this like prodigiously gifted writers circle working with this production team who could invent things at the drop of a hat. And all they had to do was visit a thrift store. And right. But now the corporation is trying to do that, and it's unsightly. You just want to put a bag over your head and walk away from it because it's just...
It was really sloppy stuff. And again, it damages. Sometimes it may not damage a story too much. It depends on, but this one really stretches credulity. And you're like, and then they go to this planet that's in, what is it Kirk mentions? It's in the southern part of the galaxy. They got a south in the galaxy. Great. Again, who writes this dialogue? Some of the dialogue in the third season drives me crazy.
Why south?
The southern part of the galaxy. Okay.
No, it's just retarded.
Oh my God. Yes.
It's not good.
And then if this is really 50,000 years, I wonder how long the planet was finally. Everybody's dead. Not most people, not everybody is dead, but everything's still nice and burning and everything though. Because
everything is still on fire.
Man, it's how long they must have just died like last week or something.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you have corporate filth trying to disguise itself as Star Trek, right?
Yes. And again, there are many, many good intentions of the episode as well.
Hey, Rod Thunderheart's here. Rod,
it's
so good to see you.
Welcome, Rod Thunderheart, and your Muslim uncle. Good to see you, sir.
Oh, your Muslim uncle's here as well? I didn't see him come in. Hello.
Yes, indeed. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, yeah, I just think the episode, obviously, this goes without saying that it's well-intentioned and has a good, kind of a good heart to it. I think it's just extraordinarily... It's just really, really blatant. It's not very subtle and has a lot of discrepancies in it that kind of hurt it for its story to me. Yeah. I do like a lot of its intentions though. So I don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater too much, but and again, I love Frank Gorshin, but as an episode, and you can go home with your notes now if you like. Just as an episode.
What's it like to walk in my mind? It's so funny, whenever you talk about Star Trek, It's as though we sat and watched the episode together because your thoughts are exactly my thoughts, and I feel like I've mind melded with you. However, I digress.
My
Let's get
thoughts
on.
to your thoughts.
Yes, exactly.
My
So
mind.
yes, exactly. So I have in my notes, folks, I take notes while I watch the episodes. I always watch in linear order because I'm weird like that. I can't help myself. I have to do it. And then I take notes. So having watched all 5 episodes today, like I do every year, Gorshin is of course, everyone knows the Riddler from the Batman TV show. And while everyone probably knows that, what people probably don't know is that the close-ups on the red alert lights are an homage to this, the camera techniques that were used on the Batman TV show. Jean L. Kuhn wrote this and was embarrassed by it, so it sports his nom de plume. So we know that Block already said that. The script is weak. Lots of chasing replaces dialogue. In fact, so much chasing that several sources report that Frank Gorshin and Lou Antonio smashed into one another while filming. I guess because they filmed their episodes simultaneously, or their footage, I mean, simultaneously to save money. And then I have self-destruct sequence with major exclamation point. Then I miss 1960s and 1970s glassware. I want that glassware back. It's just so beautiful. And now when you try and get stuff like that, it's plastic. And I love the world before cosmetic dentistry. So I love that close up when we see Jimmy's teeth. And it's so funny because after Generation X, people started doing cosmetic dentistry. But Generation X and prior, if you would go into your dentist's office and you had a couple of crooked teeth, the dentist would just say, okay, that's nice. Don't forget to floss. There was none of this cosmetic dentistry, which it is very popular now. So I just love looking at Jimmy's real teeth. And I put this type of storytelling works well with Jonathan Swift because of satire, and worked for me as a kid, a little overwrought and forced as an adult. So that's what I put on there. And I guess that's something that Block also said. The thing about Jonathan Swift when he does things this heavy-handed is that we have satire. So satire, if you're unfamiliar with the term for people who are listening on the podcast, is when you use mocking. And to try and take something apart, to make people reconsider it, or perhaps even to make people feel ashamed of their behavior, and that's the point of satire. But when you're this didactic, this heavy-handed, in the absence of that satire, the over moralizing can kind of seem a little hammy, and that's unfortunate because I feel exactly the same way as Clobby. This message is so important. Man, it would have been so much better if both Jeans and Fontana had have been involved with this. It would have been excellent. I love that Sulu says racism is primitive thinking. And what else?
Yes.
Spock's quote on change and the nature of existence. I just absolutely love that quote. And Forward's evolution in a time when that was not welcome. So those are my notes on this episode. It is neither divine nor disgusting. However, we can definitely tell that this is corporate Star Trek. And just so everyone knows, corporate Star Trek doesn't work.
It does not work. I really love the quote you put up there, Martin D with a C, so I had to put that one up there. We put them all up and take forever, everyone, but I do love everything that you're all writing there. I really do. I see it all. But I do love that. That exchange is one of the key things of the episode that you just kind of touched on a little bit there. So, yes, check if there was persecution on Earth once. I remember reading about it in my history class. Yeah. So, again, thank you for that one, Mark D with the C.
Yeah, so, Mark D with the C says, I just read Raquel's mind. Isn't it funny how, like, when you spend so much time together and you develop, like, real friendships with people, just how much similarities we all have. Like, Clobby is just Oh, I just as everybody knows at home, he's one of my best friends in the whole world. I love him with all my heart. And yeah, Mark T with the C, you and I have so much in common, and we've developed such a good friendship over this last, I don't know, year that we've known one another. And it's so funny how like-mindedness draws you to the same philosophical points, to the same pivot
Yes,
points, to the same ideas of things that you cherish and things that you find disgusting. And you just, the similarity is striking, isn't it?
absolutely, absolutely. And the thing about this is, at least whether something is a very flawed Trek, at least since this is still real Trek, good Trek will even in a story we may not like much or an episode may not like much, some good Trek will always seep through, like that line that exchange there with Sulu and Chekhov talking with when they talked with Lokai. Wonderful ideas about prejudice and things like that.
Yeah.
At least you can always, even in maybe the one you really hate, even can find some good Trek in there. That's
Yeah.
not that it does not exist in fake Trek.
Yeah.
So at least it's something. That's something. So yeah, there's always even a little good Trek in all of them.
Yeah.
Here and there.
But if you're
So-
going to be this didactic, if you're going to have this much didacticism, if you're going to have this much high-minded moralizing, and it comes in like Large Marge, which is a nickname I have for a sledgehammer. If you're going to come in Large Marge and sledgehammer that moralization, those ethics and those morals in, it is so nice to be able to have satire in which to do it. And I loved that Block took it to the same place I did with the Jonathan Swift, because I feel that in Gulliver's Travels, but I'm laughing during Gulliver's Travels, and I feel that mocking of just our insane behavior. In this case,
Oh, there you go. Yeah, absolutely. Well, now everyone, we're up to our rating stage, and what I will do is I will ask my wonderful first officer her rating. I will give mine, and then I will direct it at our fantastic chat, and I'll get all your ratings of Let That Be Your Last Battlefield. So, number one, rate that episode for us.
Captain,
Do what you got to do.
It is so beautiful what they tried to do with Gene L. Coon's story. It is heartbreaking to me that he had to come in and say that his name was Lee Cronin because somebody else wrote the script, and that there's so much running in it instead of dialogue. And we spend, a good slice of the pie of this episode is just running in a hallway, and all of the opportunity is lost. Corporate Star Trek does not work. This is corporate Star Trek trying to do the right thing, but it needs artists and craftspeople behind it. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So my rating is C+ with
a special on top there. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm actually C- on this one. I probably should have stated a C. Some of thereabouts. I put a little minus in there from some of the really illogical things and the damn running scenes.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, there's definitely worse Trek in
There
real
is.
Trek, but who knows? Maybe I should take the C off just for the great Frank portion. But there you go. I'm gonna stick with my C+. And now our great chat, please, if you would, start putting your ratings in for us. And I think we have our first one. All right, Dark Shadow Logan. And again, if I miss anyone, you let me know, everyone. I've got a new system now. I think I can see it a little bit better. Dark Shadow Logan, C+, writing week, very relevant with the pushing of critical race theory today. Shows the danger of all kinds of racism and intolerance of others' beliefs. Yes, even with their world dead, they fight. Yes, and again, some of that stuff does hit close to home. I just think it could have been handled, as we've discussed, so much better. But it does have some real Trek in there, buddy. You're absolutely right. Some very important Trek in there. Let's see here. The great Pat S is also a C+. So everybody is just cool with two guys running around in half blackface. Yeah, it was a long time ago, dude. Man, I'm surprised you can show that one now. Half, but it is half. So you do that now, you'd lose 2 whole jobs also. How did they eat from craft services without getting grease paint on the food? Maybe someone could find that out one day, buddy.
Well, the thing is too, Pat S, is that you can tell that the white side, it has been talked. but they could not find that ebony talc. So you can actually see that the black is grease, but the left is tamped down because, of course, it's been heavily, heavily talked and with invisible powder, right? But they didn't want to spoil the other side. But yeah, how'd you eat like that? Ew.
I think maybe they just drank something or whatever, like straws, like Roddy McDowell did when he had like the people on the Planet of the Apes movies
Yeah.
and shows.
Yes.
They had to drink with straws at lunch and stuff with those makeup. J-Man, C+. It's a bit heavy-handed, and there isn't really much going on. That's so true. They just yell at each other back and forth and run around. But Frank Gorshin rocks. Oh, I love that guguy. You're so right. I love him. He's great.
Agreed.
And I like the concept. That's a fair one. That's a fair one for sure. The Great Lord Thoth, D+. This one isn't awful. D+. It almost kind of sounds like you think it's awful, brother. But I'm just picking like that. It isn't good. Fair enough. Yeah. I get the idea behind it, but this one just didn't hit. Riddle me this. Riddle me this. What smells but doesn't stink? Let that be your last battlefield. I love it, buddy.
LT.
Nice. Very nicely done, brother.
LT, I love you.
Snorta Poopas Cuber.
Snorta Poopas!
D+. The makeup is horrible. Yes. It's pretty goofy. The message is classic Trek, sure. The way it is presented is in your face. Yeah, it is in your face, and could, so to speak, right? It could have been more subtle. Poor Frank Gorshin in tights again. Yeah, the tights. Oh boy. Holy jumping alert light. Yeah, the jumping alert lights. I did not realize that was an homage to the Batman's TV show. I'm now more well disposed toward them, but it was. I just thought it was the director being a jackass. But there you go.
Homage.
The homage. Now I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Now I like it. Brad Fisher rating Destruct Sequence 4, code 1C- forever. I love it. Well done, sir. See,
Brad.
Because I was expecting some wise guy to go. My rating is 000. Destruct 0.
Zing.
Boing. Phoenix Argus C-. I found it empty in content and found the same message to be tackled better in the Omega Glory. Yeah, I like that one. Due for cancellation due to half blackface. Yeah, but only half cancellation, I guess.
Yeah.
Eric K, the great Eric K. C. Love the actors. If they have not aged in 50,000 years, would that have aged in 50 million? I don't know. I guess not. Would the buildings still be burning in 50 million years? I suppose. I'm surprised it didn't say 50 million. So we got off light.
This is the problem with this, and people don't realize this, and these corporations need to realize this. Science fiction is not science fantasy, and there are people out there like Eric and Clobby and little old me, and we're thinking about the plot holes. We're thinking about we're using our rational minds, and we're trying to stay engrossed in the story. Don't mistake science fantasy for science fiction. I totally agree with Eric.
And sometimes even in science fiction, because I love science fantasy also, but sometimes in science fiction you can get away with not explaining something.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't belabor the point, and if you got a really great story. For example, Sitting on the Edge of Forever. How can you explain the Guardian of Forever? Answer: you don't. But it's still
don't have to.
No, you don't have to, because. Again, your only explanation of that is there's an extraordinary technologies way beyond our understanding. So that's pure Star Trek. But guys who look like normal humanoids with their silly half-painted bodies and their faces, who live 50,000 years and have and all the other leaps in logic in this thing, yeah, that's a little bit different. A lot different. That's fantasy, like you said. T-Bud Martin, B+. Yes, it's heavy-handed and has plot holes big enough for the Enterprise to fly through. The Doomsday Machine could fly through some of them.
Yes.
But I absolutely loved Frank Gorshin, and that self-destruct sequence is classic. I can't argue with that one, my friend.
No, we won't argue with that. That's a great rating, and thank you so much for sharing it with us.
J.K. Kirk, Study Alpha 6.
6 out of 10.
Out of 10, I love it. The $5 they spent on this episode and the borderline STD writing make this a terrible episode. But the fact the message, but the fact the message flies,
Three light years.
3 light years. Oh, okay, there you go. Over the head of SCW saves it a bit. Oh, fair enough.
JT Kirk, I love this.
Well
This is
done.
great.
Well done, sir. Sorry to mess it up. Well done. RN Feliciano as in Raymond. A D+. 1 out of 5 riddles. Potential premise on the consequences of bigotry, but very poorly written. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk versus Riddler was great. I love me some Frank. Yeah, God, I love Frank Gorshin. This is like last week. I was nuts about my great buddy Michael Dunn. So two great TV villains in the same season. Yeah, Nicolito Loveless and the Riddler. How about that? Find some outsider. A B- for guest star Gorshin. The self-destruct. Yeah, that was a good sequence. Even though they kind of contradicted it later when he just showed he could just screw around with the ship and he could disarm it. Anyway, Scotty calling them disgusting. That was these two are disgusting is the way I would describe those moment. Yep, good one. Their snide use of monotones. Yep. The fact that they both had force fields and electric hugs. Yeah. Like so I think you said earlier, so did everyone in their planet hug each other to death?
Yes, that's what they did.
I think that's what Phantom Outsider said earlier.
What happened? It was a big hugathon. They had a hugathon one day, and the planet imploded, and now it's going to burn for 50 million years.
50 million years of burning. Yes, that's quite an energy source, really. Elagabalus, C-. It's a tiresome plot that wears thin after 20 minutes, but I like the message, albeit delivered with a sledgehammer. Yes.
Yeah, a large Marge.
Indeedishness. Lord Thoth, D+. Oh, God, I'm sorry. He was talking about Lord Thoth there. Sandra.
So top 10.
Top 10.
You. That was great.
Top 10 for you, Thoth? There you go. C for Sandra. C for Catwoman. C for Sandra. Yep. It is very in your face about the topic of racism. It would have been more effective if the bigotry was more subtle. Yeah, like I said, this is about as subtle as a punch in the face.
Yeah, because that's the way bigotry really is. It's insidious and it's subtle. If you're going to make it large Marge and you're going to sledgehammer, you have to inject some satire so that people can feel disgust and feel repulsed and also laugh and think to themselves how absurd prejudice is. So yes, excellent comment.
Left to his own devices, Gene Elcombe would have made this a really excellent episode. Yes. I feel sure.
I 100% agree.
Indeedishness. Rod Thunderheart. I'm going to go with B+. It's still good sci-fi, so I'm cool with it despite the in-your-face message of racism. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. Yeah. Oh, here we go. We got an Esh-pick coming.
Oh, good.
Esh-pick on the way. Esh-pick alert. Esh-pick alert. 1 of 4. B from the great Esh Singh. This was an interesting episode, to say the least. Interesting story of racial hatred based solely on appearance, touched on by Trek. Also, the two being been at it for 50,000 years, only to let me get to the other one there. Sorry, return home to find everything is destroyed. Yet they still hate. As that is the only thing they have left to hold up. Yeah, well, yeah, no one's disputing the messaging is really good. Absolutely. Also, I love the Enterprise destruction sequence scene. A big dick move from Kirk, yes, which he would repeat and go through with.
Katie Carr!
Katie Carr's here.
Hey,
oh my
baby!
Goodness. Katie, because I can't see that I'm not that far along on the chat yet. So, Katie, it is wonderful that you are here. Thank you so much for being here. And if you have a rating for Let That Be Your Last Battlefield, that's okay if you don't, but if you do.
She put it up. She put it up.
Okay, we'll get to it then. Good. All right, let's see here. Esh part 3 of his Esh-pick. I have a lot of newfound respect for him. He has some serious big bald energy to go with that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Just to spite Ash. Ash, you are a bad boy. Bad Ash. Bad Ash.
Ash is objectifying Captain Kirk.
Yes, you
for his tight buttocks.
Oh my God, you're problematic. Oh my God. It could be interesting to think that the two aliens could be long lost lovers, like oh my God, oh shite, Romeo and Juliet, and may even be the inspiration for the song "1,000 Years" by Christina Perri. Fun to think about. Also, lol. Also, those red alert zoom-ins were stupid. They were stupid.
My
But I like
favorite,
them now.
my favorite comment in the last few comments is Pat S. He says at 52 minutes past the hour, and tell him Large Marge sent ya.
I'm not to that yet.
Love
Sure,
that.
but
Thank you, Pat
nice.
S.
Oh, we had more from Phantom. I think we've got all of our reviews, or all of our. I think we got them all. Let's see. The better ending would have been Sharon moved on without them, and Beale sees his grandkids are mixed of black and sort of black right deal, whatever. Yes, and realize how stupid
come
he's
out
been.
mono. Dun 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 dun.
Good point. That is a very good point.
It is.
Let's see. Katie's here. Let's see. So great to see you, Katie. Hello. Sorry I'm late. Great episode. One of the best in season 3. A+. My goodness. There you go. You don't want to hear what we gave it.
Yeah, you don't want to know.
We still love you. We still love you, Katie. Let's see here. Did I miss anybody? Because we're about to jump to our next episode.
We are.
So I'll make sure if I missed anyone.
Hey, Stephen Ernest! I'm so happy that you're here. Plus, you're late. Where have you been, young man?
Oh, my goodness. You're in trouble. You're in trouble with the headmaster. Welcome, Stephen Ernest. Thank you, sir, for being here. All right. Well, I guess we're ready to jump to our let's push on to our next episode, shall we?
We should. Whom gods destroy.
Yes. Let me get that one going.
Season 3, episode 14, prod code 71. So you should also know that I call Whom Gods Destroy Dagger of the Mind the Lesser, which is actually a Greek joke. And it's a Greek joke. So, what can I say? In the block text, we are on tile or brick number 319, 320. Without further ado, let's get to it. While delivering a promising new drug to Elba 2, Kirk and Spock discover, a bit too late, that the inmates are running the asylum. The patient in charge is Garth of Izar, once a brilliant starship captain whose exploits were required reading at Starfleet Academy. Garth, Kirk learns, was rendered mad by a serious accident that left him badly injured. The well-meaning inhabitants of Antos 4 helped him to repair his damaged body by teaching him cellular metamorphosis techniques. Once recovered, Garth learned how to use the same techniques to change his appearance at will. Now, criminally insane, Garth plans to use the Enterprise to escape from Elba. If he can just get Kirk to reveal the code phrase that will convince Scotty that he is actually Kirk. One suspects that Captain Kirk experienced a tiny, albeit indiscernible to viewers' eyes, moment of fear when he saw the chair that Garth was using to torture Asylum Administrator Corey, and of course him in Whom Gods Destroy, because it's the same chair, slightly modified by the show's prop department that Dr. Tristan Adams used to torture Kirk in Dagger of the Mind. Of course, the audience too may have suffered a collective tweak of déjà vu because Whom Gods Destroy may be the Star Trek poster child for recycling efforts. Props, costume, and even film footage from previous episodes show up. Garth's garb was originated as Commissioner Ferris's threads in the first season episode, The Galileo 7. That is true. Garth's furry-colored robe was worn by Anton Caridian in The Conscience of the King. That is also true. The environmental suits that Garth's crazy henchmen wear while dragging Marta outside to die are the same suits created for the Enterprise crew in the season for the Tholian Web. You know how much I love those suits. Those suits are so cool.
Yes.
And the film footage of the Enterprise firing phaser blasts at Elba 2's force field originated as a sequence in Who Mourns for Adonis, when the Enterprise fires phaser blasts at Apollo's Greek temple. That is also true. Well, at least they get an A+ for going green way ahead of their time. Visitors checking out the star-embedded sidewalks of Hollywood will find a particularly noteworthy one in front of the historic Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel near Garmin Chinese Theater. Garmin's Chinese theater. Few actors within the pantheon of celebrities honored on the Walk of Fame are more deserved than Key Luke, or is it Ku?
I think it's
K
always.
Luke.
I think he was always pronounced Key Luke. He's a pretty well known actor.
Yes, he is. I remember him from my childhood, a regular figure
Yeah,
in my childhood.
on
So
Kung
Key
Fu.
Luke.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I watched all of Kung Fu, loved it. So Key Luke, who portrayed Governor Donald Corey in Whom Gods Destroy. The actor was born in China and raised in Seattle, Washington, began his career as a mural artist. Among his many works are murals on the wall of Garmin's. But Luke soon laid down his brushes, trading them in for grease paint and dozens of appearances on the big screen. For several decades, Luke was the go-to actor for productions that actually cast Asians as Asian characters. His breakthrough role early on was as Charlie Chan's number one
Number
son
one son.
in the
Yes.
1930s Charlie Chan Mysteries, which featured most notably Swedish actor Warren Orland as the first
Yeah.
incarnation of the Chinese detective. He would eventually play Chan himself in the 1972 animated series The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan.
I remember that.
Over the years, the prolific actor appeared often in recurring roles in more than 200 movies and television titles, from Kato in the 1940s Green Hornet films to appearances in television's long-running series MASH. After playing Corey in Star Trek, Luke moved on his seminal role as Master Po on television's Kung Fu, and he continued to act until his death at age 86 in 1991. And yeah, I love this guy. He's just
Oh yeah.
wonderful person. Okay, that's all the block text has to say about Whom Gods Destroy. I'm going to throw it over to you, Clobby, and the chat. What did you think of Block's coverage of Whom Gods Destroy?
Interesting coverage. Polynese Minion. Good to see you here. Good to see you
Hey,
there.
Polynese Minion and Pupper.
And Pupper. I thought it was pretty good coverage. The episode itself has a lot of things in it I do like. And like a lot of them, it also has I have some issues with it, but it's not an episode I really dislike or anything. There's a lot of pretty good character stuff in it. I'm kind of a sucker for anytime something like sort of stands out as Trek lore. And you do have that with Captain Garth, Starship Fleet Captain Garth, and the whole Axanar thing, mentions of Axanar and things like that. Some of that stuff I think is pretty good. I guess some of the stuff is even kind of funny with with the crazy inmates and all that kind of stuff. And I do like, how every now and then, this does have some good Trek ideas, like the whole point of when they go down to that asylum planet, that there are very, very, very few people that have those severe mental illnesses anymore. That's very Star Trek. There are a few, and they've got a new technique that they're going to take care of that with. I love that idea. I think that's some good Star Trek stuff right there. Some of the stuff we were, because when we go into the illogic, now the illogic doesn't always kill an episode. I do want to know why, if they didn't make it clear if the what was it, the Antosians or whatever that taught, is this a power? If it's cellular, if on a cellular level, why does it change its clothes?
Yeah.
Or if they just explained it a little bit differently, like it's some sort of power of illusion or something like that.
Well, that's what I was thinking, right? Like, why didn't they ever qualify it as an illusion? So his like a power of the mind to control the way that you would perceive his physical appearance, rather than this metamorphosis, because of course metamorphosis means that he is actually undergoing the change, and in which case, like every good werewolf, he ought to wake up soaked in blood and his clothes torn. Instead, his sartorial choices remain unharmed in any way, shape, or form, and it's a little alarming.
Right, he could change. I mean, yeah, it's a visually. He looks exactly like whom he takes their place. He doesn't have to change into their clothes or anything. Their clothes just magically appear on him. So that again, look, that's more of that third season writing that doesn't make a lot of sense. And this
corporate
is Star Trek
writing. Corporate writing.
This is Star Trek, not a superhero comic when you could just do that kind of stuff. And you could easily just have, I think people would have bought into it more. And I mean, not that anyone ever, has really bitched about it much. If you simply said this is some sort of power of illusion, or he's manipulating.
Mm-hmm.
He has this ability to look at someone and completely, in some sort of way, with some sort of strange type of energy, not only look like them, I mean, look exactly like they looked at that moment,
Mm-hmm.
or something along those lines. That people more, it'd have been easier to buy into, because you go, all right, sure. I
Yeah,
don't think
like
it's a bad.
Marky with this, he said, sorry to interrupt you while you're talking, Captain. He just said, Mystique. He mentioned
Well, like
Mystique, and
Mystique, that's a good point.
yeah, with Mystique, you buy it, right? Because it's a whole body experience that she undergoes, but it's not quite so quick. It's you get to watch the transformation.
Yeah.
So, but and because that couldn't be achieved, why not just make it a power of the mind?
Yeah, something like that. Like he influences, maybe he makes people see what he wants them to see, something like that, what they want them to see.
Yep.
You could explain it more, something like that, like he's actually making you see what you want to see, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but again, that's not a big deal. The episode, I think the episode is fairly entertaining. I don't think there's anything particularly terrible. In fact, it has some good ideas, some good concepts, and overall some good character stuff. I don't have any really serious axe to grind with the episode. There wasn't a lot in it that bothered me that much, other than that little nitpick. I like some of the stuff with Kirk and Scotty, the Queen's Level 3 stuff, with the security of the ship and different things like that. It was, I find it to be a relative, certainly nothing of any kind of an offensive episode to me in any way, or an episode that really bothers me that much. And I do like some of the character stuff. I like, it was some of the crazy stuff. I love Yvonne Craig. All right, everyone, I may as well get this out of the way right now. My first love in life were two ladies, and I'm talking when I was 2 or 3 years old, and she was the first love of my life, Batgirl. Yvonne Craig is Batgirl. And so, of course, seeing her as a Green Riding slave girl, yeah, my second one, by the way, was Judy from Lost in Space, the wonderful Marta Kristen. So it was out of those two, my first two loves. And seeing her as a Green Riding slave girl, somehow just don't have a problem with that ever. And she was kind of a crazy character in the episode. Kind of pretty disturbing what they did to her, though. Whew. That was nutty.
Well, it is a banned episode, so that's why.
Oh, okay. Well, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a banned. Right. It's one of those banned episodes, right?
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. So I don't really have much against it as an episode or anything like that. I don't think it's really great, but I think there's enough to be a fairly entertaining, if not a completely solid Trek episode. Don't know about you, but that's kind of my feelings on it.
Okay. Well, for me, I thought the block coverage was pretty good. I'm just going to dig into my notes. Okay. This is a banned episode. It was banned until 1993 due to torture and sexuality, namely Marta's dance. This was a ghost or shadow banned, as well as outright banned, depending upon what country. So it would be shown after a certain hour to be certain that children couldn't watch it, or it just wasn't shown at all. Key Luke is a childhood treasure, I put in my notes.
Oh, yes.
And I put in my notes, let's just reuse everything. And then Leonard Nimoy complained about this episode. The believability was nil. The brothers would know one another. This is also shape-shifting trivia. The Man Trap, The Survivor, which is, of course, TAS from 1973, and The Undiscovered Country. So if you are a trivia person, this is when we get to see a shapeshifter pretend they are Kirk, or he or she, or right. He's Kirk. And then I've got in my notes, although I use some unsavory language, I do apologize. Just imagine I'm speaking of a female dog. Double nerve pinch, bitches, with a huge exclamation point. Andorian alert. And Andorian alert. And also, finally, we're seeing the makeup artist using water-based paint, not grease, on Marta. I also thought that Chiana was definitely based on Marta.
Oh, really? From Farscape?
Yes, I felt as though Chiana borrowed her movements and just the tilt of her head and this slightly alien gait of sort of walking as though she were bull riding. I felt as though Chiana was definitely inspired by Marta's performance. And that's all I have. That's about it. This is neither divine nor disgusting. This episode.
Yeah, and again, I would be remiss if we didn't say, yeah, the great Key Luke, seeing him there is cool. I really like him, and I did like Steve Enhat as Garth. Again, just learning about this great captain that was such a hero to Kirk and an inspiration. And I also kind of like it was some again that had some good stuff in it. When when Kirk when Spock had to figure out which one was which, that scene there was pretty good and stuff like that. And some clever stuff there. And again, I like the fact that at the end that it looks like, we don't know, of course, we'll never know, but it looked like that Garth was going to maybe return to himself with this new drug that they had that helped him, whatever it was. So and again, unfortunately, that actor passed not too long after that. That actor wasn't around much longer.
Yeah.
But overall, I've always thought it was a fairly decent episode. Nothing super bad to say about it here. Not really a great one either, in my opinion. So I guess what I will do now is to get your rating, number 1, For Whom Gods Destroy. I'll give mine, and then I will ask our illustrious chat for theirs.
Dagger of the mind, the lesser. This is corporate writing at its finest. How can we recycle, a great story? How can we recycle everything? Let's just make as much money as possible. And offend a whole bunch of people in the process. This is the way corporations think, and we see that in the modern filth. And this is season 3. This is 100% corporate writing, corporate recycling, and a corporation courting outrage to get your eyeballs on things. So this is a giant for me, and I give it a C+, and I'm just being generous because I too like the idea of this long lost captain. Yeah.
Wow, there you go. You were meaner to it than me, and I give a lesser rating. I'm giving it a C. And again, because we're in that third season, there's so many things way worse to me.
Yeah.
So much that's worse than that.
I have the same attitude as Rod Thunderheart, though, because even when you see the corporate version of the original series, the thing is that there's so much of your childhood and your love is tied up in it that it's hard to be hard on real Star Trek. It's very evident that both Jeans and Dorothy have left the building. They have left the building. This is
right.
This is just shameless recycling, and they didn't even rinse the can first. So no.
No, I got you. Like I said, yeah, it's not. I mean, there are things. I mean, they're just, to me, there's a lot of worse stuff in this season, but I'm totally with you. Okay, everyone, you've already listened. Oh, Snortapoopas Q Burr, I'm afraid you're going to have to be held over for detention because you jumped the gun. Just kidding. We'll go with yours first anyway. But now I'm going to ask for the ratings of our wonderful chat. And we'll start with the great Snortapoopas Burr. C-. Agrees with you. They go yet another demented captain, although Steve Enhat makes the most of it.
Yeah.
With a brief glimpse at the end of how Garth must have been in his prime. Yeah, Yvonne Craig. Oh, I love her. And the seductive Orion Dance Redux. Yes.
Snortapoopas, I love you.
Yeah, well done, Snort.
Snortapoopas, you raise a point that I'm always thinking about when I'm watching this episode, and that is, on a go-forward basis, does he harness the metamorphosis process and teach it to Starfleet? It's just no. This is a no. It's a no.
I just remembered, and Batgirl was awesome. That's 2 Bat stars. Yeah, exactly, Mark. There's 2 Bat stars in a row. There you go.
Yep.
So, J-Man has to run. J-Man, thank you for being here, buddy.
J-Man, you leaving?
We appreciate you. Everyone, I don't know if you've left yet, J-Man, but I really appreciate you. There is a link in my description below. Please go to his channel and check it out. It's a good dude. That's a great channel.
Thank you for coming. Good night.
Appreciate you, buddy. All right, let's see here. Bye-bye. Let's get to our ratings. Maybe take me a second to get to them, everyone. All right, I hope I'm getting to the beginning of them. Here we go. Mark D with the C. I hope you're the first one because that's the first one I'm seeing after Snort. C. 2 out of 5 Riddlers. Riddler's Riddles. We're back to another Batman. What the hell, dude? That was the other episode. Good intentions, bad writing and execution. Loci. Did I go back? How did we get back to?
Oh yeah, you gone too far back. Too far back. Too far back.
No, that's just 2 minutes.
Is it 2 minutes? Well, StreamYards does suck sometimes. So.
Dude, but I think he already reviewed Let That Be Your Last Battlefield. Pretty sure he did. I'm not sure why I'm seeing that one, buddy, but we hear you. I think you did that. Didn't you review it earlier, buddy? Holy Batman, at least we got this so much primitive. Yeah, this one was earlier. What happened, bub? Well, maybe you can tell me. I'm way behind on these, by the way, everyone. So I'm just trying
Some of them are just classic comedy. Tonight's gonna be like another like howling with laughter fest. You have to read some of these. These are great.
Indeed. B+ for Dark Shadow Logan. Writing was okay, and you can't go wrong with Green Women. Important story on broken warriors and PTSD, ahead of its time. Indeed, reminds me of Space Joker Harley in Arkham Asylum. When looking back on, good point. Yeah, well done. Good point. JT Kirk. SETI Alpha 8. Wow, SETI Alpha 8 out of is that 8? 8 out of 10. Wow. So much. Oh yeah. Let's see here. I appreciate the episode in a meta sort of way to get to the 1960s understanding of mental illness. Also, the Orion and Dorian Tellurite costumes are fairly well done. Thank you.
Very nice.
Absolutely. Let's see here.
Excellent comment. Thank you, JT.
Indeed. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, JT Kirk. Pat S. B-. Interesting that season 3 is the weakest, and yet so many Playmates 1999 series of 4 and 5 action figures came out of the season. Never thought of that. When you have time looking up the Andorian and his really pink shawl. You'd have to remind me about that, buddy. Phoenix Argus B- for the block's throwaway line on recycling. Other shows such as Doctor Who, Lost in Space, and Flash Gordon did that too.
Yep.
B for Marta's costume.
Yep.
There was a costume? Oh, there was a costume there, yes. Can't remember much about the story, so I abstain. And yet you... we'll allow it.
Love it.
Eric KB. Raquel is Lord Garth. Lord Garth. Besides some plot holes, a beautiful Orion girl is always nice indeed.
Yep.
Except what they did to her. Jesus, man. How many captains and commodores does Starfleet have going nuts? 2 minutes.
Yes.
Admirals are worse.
Yes.
There may be more bad admirals, dude.
Yep. It's true.
Steve Mitchum. D. 9 daggers into my mind. Raymond. Feliciano. I know. C. The good captain goes bad. Trope is old and does not get better. Lore is okay.
Meh.
I hear you.
I'm hearing you, Raymond.
I hear you, man. Phantom Outsider. B for Batgirl. Absolutely. Lord Garth, Master of the Universe, and Klingons. Claimed Kirk had delusions of godhood. Yeah, they did. Oh, yeah, Lord. Yeah, you're right. And Klingons claimed Kirk had delusions of godhood. I read that wrong. Excuse me. Bonus, the Kirk speech where he calls himself and Spock brothers. The message of Trek future.
Yep.
I always got another one. I'm sorry. Let me find that one. Yes, I did like that. Like that. That's a good point. I'm glad they always bring up the good stuff that I forget. Thank you.
They do.
Peace and brotherhood and mutual respect for all. I do like that very much. Thank you. Thank you there, Phantom Outsider. You like a list. D+. One flew over Kirk's belly fat. Jesus, man. I forget who episode for me. Looks like it was filmed in an abandoned Ramada Inn hosting a bad cosplay convention. Nice. Very well done, sir. Very well done indeed. I appreciate you. Mark D with a C. B+. 3 out of 5 Batgirls. Garth and Marta were great foils to Kirk and Spock. Mental illness was treated with compassion.
Yeah.
We got a double Vulcan neck pinch,
Yep.
yes, and Yvonne Craig dancing in an amazing costume. Well, what more could anyone ask?
For a good story. For a good story, Chloe.
Oh, it's the third season. Come on. Let's see here. I wonder if Clobby will notice what this time.
What are Mark and Chris up to? I don't know.
Chris, if I missed one on you, buddy, damn, I'm sorry, bud. Just let me know, man. I hope I didn't.
Did we miss Chris last time?
Did I miss you, Chris? You can give me.
We ought to be ashamed of ourselves.
It's not you. It's me. I'm blind, I guess. I hope I didn't miss there, bud. There we go. Stephen Ernest, A+. Wow.
Keep going.
For a green, for a green and blonde Craig. You're messing with it. Craig, hot and effectively acting crazy. B- for the ep, with the interesting ideas, but with the third season sloppy writing. Garth's madness was fun. Yep. Fair enough, sir.
Yep, that is a very good review. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Wow, Lord Thoth is shocking me tonight, man.
What? LT, are you okay?
B-.
Did you hit your head?
Yeah. Where? What have you done with the? This is the mirror version of Lord Thoth. B-. This one is a guilty pleasure for me. Marta, Orion's slave girl. Well, yeah, you know. You can't blame. PTSD chills from trauma. Hail to all fellow vets out there. Garth of Izar, an Andorian, my favorite race. You're playing race favorites. Yes, indeed. Thank you, sir. Indeed, buddy. But you missed my. I did. I just got yours. Well, yeah. I'm just seeing that. I got you. I forgot that. I didn't look at your timestamp there. I'm trying to get. Okay. I thought I'd gotten that one. Oh, wait a minute. Ash is at 5 of 6. I don't. We may be having a 4. Let me backtrack on Ash. All right, here we go, Ash. This StreamYard thing's great. Now I'm seeing it, but I didn't see Ash at first. Mark D with a C. I'm sorry about that, brother. I thought I'd done that one that you did. I remember reading that one. I have a garbage memory, so it could be wrong. I'm sorry, Mark D. All right, Ash pick right here, folks. Ash, 1 of 6. A B-. Space Arkham Asylum. Does this make Kirk Captain Batboy? Yes, Captain Batboy. That's what he is. Interesting episode that explores individuals declared criminally insane, as well as mental health in general.
True.
It does. Let's see here. Number 2 of 200. I have 6. Sorry, I'm just messing with Ash. I hated the cure stuff. It makes the recovery from such conditions seem quick, cheap, and trivial for reasons I won't go into that hit close to home. Yeah, but it is the 23rd century, and they have very few cases. So, but I hear you. Would love a quick fix, but it says, but it's not so easy. But This is the 23rd century.
Yep.
So there's the kind of part of their point was very, very few people have that. So
yeah,
in
and
the Star Trek context, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, in socio-historical context, Ash, it's important for you to realize that many people felt as though folks who had mental illness were basically throwaway people. And their treatment in sanitariums and in asylums was quite brutal and inhumane. And they were trying to rehabilitate the idea of that and get people in touch with the fact that there was hope. There was hope for people who had disabilities. There was hope for people who suffered from a mental illness, that we would eventually get to the point where we would be able to heal people in any manner in which they required. So I can definitely see how, with a modern lens, though, that seems a little slap happy and not very sincere. So, but just so you know, that is the context. Many people were starting to pull their relatives out of sanitariums and out of mental hospitals. People were questioning frontal lobotomies and electric shock treatment, and everyone was really talking about that, and many people were quite worried about how we were dealing with mental illness at that time.
Apparently, I'm told that I did miss Mark D with the C's. Let that be the last battle. I could have swore I did it, but I trust you, Eric. I trust you, Eric. I got to find a new system, I guess. I'm sorry, Mark. I'll grab back that as soon as I finish this epic. I promise. I thought I did it, man. If I still have it on here. It's number 3 from Ash. I know this is criminal insanity and not general issues, but meh, semantics. In addition, I hated how extremely docile and lacking of memory the medicine made him. It did kind of take his memory away, but it took his, yeah. That's a good point, Ash. I'm with you there. Back to Trek. Insight into the mind of Garth and the things he does are disturbing, and I guess that's the point of conveying the mind of the insane.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. When he blew up that Orion girl to incite fear and just because, I was like, whoa, damn, guys, we're going there. We're going there, and the torture stuff, too. Like, damn, this queen...
This
queen on something else entirely. This queen.
I love you, Ash Thing.
Oh, my God. Also, the Orion girl is hot, but my only gripe is that her dancing didn't look like dancing. I get it's like traditional dancing, but still. Okay. Yeah. Well, we will have no besmirching of Batgirl around here, brother. No. All right, let's see here. All right. Mark D with a C. I'm trying to find the one you. Yeah. Okay. I think I have it. I think I have it. I think I don't have it. I think I have it. Okay. Now I'm back in track because I could have swore I did it, dude, but you know me. Mark D knows me well enough to know I'm a senile old fool. All right.
No,
this is Let That Be Your Last Battlefield because we've already read this one on Whom Gods Destroy. 2 out of 5 Riddler riddles, good intentions, bad writing and execution. Lokai was stuck in Lara's tunnel for, I don't know, sure what that means, for 50 years. A holy bat marathon, at least we get. There's no such primitive thinking today. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. And again, I'm sorry about that, Mark D. All right, let's see here. See if we got a little bit more. We're going to scoot on to the next one real quick as soon as we got past this one here. I think we got everybody. I'm sure I'm going to miss somebody. 7 of 6. Ash, I'm coming to get you. She was waving her arms about and looked like a big green flying chicken. The Kirk and Spock brother quote was beautiful, though. Space Comrade's penis. If this is 8, you're a dead man.
Oh, so funny.
Oh, I love Ash.
Green space chicken.
Yeah, we love you, Ash, bro. Oh, my God. I think we got everybody. We probably didn't. I probably missed someone. Everyone. I've got this chat pushed back so I can try to get everybody. So there you go. There we are. Now, all right, we're moving on to the next one.
We are.
Because we've got.
Let's keep going.
Well, let's see what our next one is here. Oh, here we go. Oh boy. I didn't mean that the way it sounded. Here we go, folks. All right, folks. The next one is go ahead and tell them. You could tell them. I don't have the strength to tell them.
The Mark of Gideon. Season 3, Episode 16, Prod Code 72. If you're following along in the block text, the blocky block text, we are on tile 322. And without further ado, the United Federation of Planets has been trying to recruit Gideon, supposedly a virtual paradise, as a member of world for some time, with no success. Now the planet's ruling council has agreed to the presence of a Federation delegation of 1. The captain of the Enterprise, Kirk, beams down to specified coordinates, but finds that he is still on Enterprise, which is unaccountably unpopulated, except for a beautiful young girl named Odana. In the meantime, Gideon's council reports that Kirk never arrived and refuses to allow Spock to mount a search party to look for the captain. On Kirk's Enterprise, Odana claims... What? What's wrong?
We missed Rod Thunderheart. Go ahead. I'll find it.
Okay, well, we'll find you, Rod. Don't worry. Odana claims to be ignorant of how she herself arrived on the ship, but Kirk suspects that something insidious is going on. The subject of overpopulation has been a hot topic since Earth's population topped 1 billion people in the 19th century. Intellectuals of the day noted that humanity might eventually outstrip the planet's resources. By the beginning of the 20th century, the world's population had jumped to 1.6 billion. And after that, it began to look as if those intellectuals had been right to be concerned. By mid-century, the population had increased by another billion, thanks in part to compulsory vaccination in many regions and improvements in medicine and sanitation. In the second half of the 20th century, things really began to look scary as the populations in Asia, Latin America, and Africa each jumped more than 100%. As a result, the population of a whopping 6 billion as humanity entered the new millennium. Clearly, a subject of such importance would draw the attention of writers of speculative fiction, and therein came the story idea of the Mark of Gideon. Perhaps it is not a coincidence that the story for this episode was co-written by the actor who played Cyrano Jones in The Trouble with Tribbles. That is true, and it is quite cute, isn't it, considering the way that the Tribbles mate and overpopulate. Anyhow, that episode featured a creature that defined overpopulation. However, unlike the cheerfully mercenary character he played in Tribbles, Stanley Adams, who died in 1977, is said to have been a man deeply concerned with the problems of overpopulation. During the filming of Tribbles, Adams reportedly had some casual conversations with Gene Roddenberry, suggesting that Star Trek do a story reflecting the subject matter. The Mark of Gideon evidently was the result. Oh boy, this is a lot of writing. Oh, here we go. The story outline for the Mark of Gideon is quite different from the final aired episode. Overpopulation is the crux of the dilemma for the people of Gideon, but the methodology by which Holden chooses to deal with it is much more disturbing. As with the television episode, the bait that Holden uses to attract the Enterprise is his world's apparent willingness to join the Federation. But rather than ask Kirk to beam down, Holden and several of his aides beam aboard the ship and then proceed to kidnap Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Scotty, and Chapel, who learn that they are to be subject to experimentation. As in the episode, the Gideonites are plagued with their ability to regenerate all damaged bodily cells. They plan to use Kirk's crew as living blood banks in hopes of introducing human ailments into Gideonites. Adana is not Holden's daughter. She is simply a member of the populace, chosen as a test, and she does indeed fall ill, as does Holden, when McCoy manages to inject him with tainted blood. The Enterprise crew escapes when the guards learn that Holden and other members of his council had never planned to expose themselves to harm. They were counting on the deaths of the common people to leave their exclusive group free to enjoy immortality in a much less crowded world. Holden is a more sympathetic person in this aired episode, and he seems to love his daughter. But there are obvious solutions to Gideon's problems that Holden never considers. One solution would have been for the inhabitants to forsake the lovely germ-free atmosphere of Gideon and travel to other worlds. Yes, apparently it's pretty there. Yes, apparently it's pretty there. But if you can't see the proverbial forest for the trees with all those people, what good is it? Wow, Block writes some weird stuff sometimes. Hey, Raymond? And other writers out there. The other was the solution that everyone at home was thinking, and that Kirk brings up. Let your people learn about the devices of safety to safely prevent conception. The Federation will provide anything you need. Holden responds that his people believe that life is sacred. Yet, in following his rationale a bit further, Kirk and the viewers realize that what Holden is really advocating is a policy of self-euthanasia for his people, which doesn't seem to support the philosophy based on a deep regard for the sacredness of life. I agree. But all Kirk and the viewer could do was leave orbit and hope a happier outcome the following week. And that is all the block text has to say about the Mark of Gideon, other than some weirdly phrased paragraphs. What did you think of the block text?
Well, before I do that, everyone, I promise everyone I missed on the last one, I'm going to backtrack and find you. Either 3 or 4 people. I don't know how I did it. I have some of them didn't show up till later because I backtracked and now I see them. I didn't see them before. I need a new system. I'm so sorry. So sorry about that. I got distracted because I've missed so many people. I'm so mad at myself. That's what I get for hurrying.
I think everyone understands.
Well, I'm sorry about that, Katie and Sandra and Rod and anyone else that I missed. I'm sorry. I'll get to them now. Thank you, Eric, by the way. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, it was something. This episode, I don't know where to begin.
You could begin there.
Is the planet, was it a Ardon or whatever the hell, screw the planet's name. Was the planet so much like a planetoid? Was it that much smaller than we don't know? Of course, they don't tell you, because again, they don't tell you and explain anything about this episode.
No.
So for there to be that many people, because I guess nobody ever dies or something, but again, they must be next to Charon, because nobody dies there either, apparently, until they kill each other. But I mean, if you don't kill each other, they're just going to live forever, like thousands of years, I guess.
Yeah.
There's no room on the planet, but they have room for a replica of the entire Enterprise.
Now you're starting to sound like my notes. These are all my refutations in my notes. Keep on going, Clobby. We think so much alike. Please continue, sir.
It's like, all right, this replica of the Enterprise. Well, again, I don't know how they were able to do that, but they've got the technology to do that. They're obviously technologically advanced. Did they ever even address the idea in the story? Of course not. That why didn't they seek out other worlds to live on?
Yeah,
we have what, 9 billion right now on the planet.
Well, people often look to that, but you also have to factor in that there are many countries in the world, including third world countries, where they don't have birth certificates and birth records.
Well, no.
So anytime you're guessing at that,
Right.
I would definitely tack extra on to that.
Well, okay, but however many there are, how many billions could fit in Texas? Could fit in one? Now, how many billions of beings? So in other words, now again, if the planet's much smaller, which would be weird, like a planetoid, maybe I'm talking about to the point where you can't even move anywhere without anybody there. Okay, because I know they're sort of like, let that be your last battlefield. They're being really extreme to make a point.
Yeah,
and they're punching you in the face with it.
Yes, and I will say it again. When you bring Large Marge into the room, you better have a good reason to use her.
Right.
Because when that sledgehammer comes out, Raquel is going to be asking why.
Yeah.
The didactic sledgehammer has made an appearance. Large Marge is here.
Why did they have to even make a replica of the Enterprise to do what their little stupid scheme?
Yeah.
They could have just taken Kirk and take his damn blood.
Well,
what do you mean down?
Now you sound like my notes.
What is this? I mean, they just wanted the shock value of him going onto a ship. There was a replica that nobody was there.
Completely pointless.
Absolutely pointless and stupid. None of it made any sense. Now, again, one of my favorite episodes of The Twilight Zone. Where is everybody? You could have done a different type of story if you wanted Kirk on the ship completely abandoned or something like that. That'd have been cool.
Yeah.
There's no explanation or rationale for anything in this stupid episode. It's boring. It's dumb. And they could probably be arrested, the producer of the show, for torture, for making those poor guys be filmed with those stupid things on their head.
Yeah.
Because this is the planet, you deserve to have a population problem if you walk around with those stupid things you're wearing on your head.
Yes, indeed.
Which is another episode we're going to see tonight with other scenes with guys with really stupid crap on their head. Look at that. Look at that. If you had to dress like that, you'd want to. And this crap right here. Oh my God! Some of these scenes with the people, like, what the hell is that supposed to be?
Wasn't that recycled in The Next Generation too, when Beverly Crusher gets sucked into that vortex?
Oh yeah, yes.
They actually recycled this.
Yeah, it at least made some sense. So all these people, these disembodied heads, are outside looking into the Enterprise, which, by the way, man, they did a great job of. They can make a complete replica of the entire ship. That's pretty big.
Yeah. And I mean, it's basically Kirk's wife, and yet he doesn't know his own wife.
Yeah. Oh, I've always hated this freaking episode
Yes, Stephen Ernest. I know with
Oh,
some of
God.
the sabotage, the way that he says sabotage in this one is it's pretty
It's so
funny.
dumb. God, this is a dumbass episode. But if you want to go to your notes real quick, we can do it quick. I'm gonna backtrack the things I.
All right, you go find our lost lambs, and we will get them read out because we love this chat, and everything you say matters to us. I make sure I read each and every single comment you guys say, and I love it. It's also why I'm prone to just going, yeah, in the background, or I start laughing at inopportune times. It's because I actually pay attention to everything you guys say. That said, these are my notes from this episode. Euthanasia, birth control, overpopulation. Stanley Adams is Cyrano Jones, trouble with tribbles. I think Block already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Why would the Gideons need the ruse of beaming Kirk to a fake Enterprise? All they need is his germs. The whole premise is annoying. How do they even know what the interior of the Enterprise looks like? Why waste the precious space? Why go to the trouble of building a ship? How and why put the population through that? Just ask for juices. And this will not be the first or the last time you've heard me say, just ask for the juices. Ask for the bodily fluids, pay a fluffer if you must, but just get the juices. Why not relocate some of this population? And I really love the quote, the purpose of diplomacy is to prolong crisis. And that, of course, is a quote by Spock.
That was
other than that, I would just like to say that this entire episode is one giant
and a boring one at that.
Corporate Star Trek can fluff right off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
absolutely.
Agent Decibel, welcome. I have never met you before. Welcome.
I'm not that far along yet to see it yet, so because I'm way behind everybody.
That's okay.
Yeah, this episode sucks and it's boring, so we'll get done with it quickly. But I'm gonna say, let's see here. First of all, on again, and if I'm missing anyone else, I'm so sorry. We got to move. But let's see. We had earlier. We had D-Bud Martin.
Oh, good.
Who said he was speaking of I think he's Whom Gods Destroy.
Yeah.
A rare season 3 episode. Oh no, a very season 3 episode. He means it's not horrible, but I'd rather watch What Are Little Girls Made Of if I wanted body doubles. There you go. I'm with you. Katie Carr simply said a solid B. Okay. And Rod Thunderheart said, lost you guys for a minute. A-. I love it. I like this episode because it was pretty good for the mental illness angle. So again, for me, good Star Trek. If I missed anyone else, I do apologize. Thanks to the great Eric K for helping me with that. And Chris Persia for helping me with that, and everybody else who did. I love you and appreciate you. I never mean to miss you. I'm just a dumb arse. Let's see here.
No, it's that sometimes StreamYards is a little weird. Like last week, for the first time in over a year of using StreamYards, I got kicked. And also last week, a lot of the comments people were making were not appearing on my end or had tremendous delay. So StreamYards is not perfect. And last time I said that, when I said StreamYards needs to work on its code, I immediately got kicked. So I would just like to say, StreamYards gods, do not be mean to me.
Please not. Yes, absolutely. Agent Decibel, welcome. It is good to see you. A new arrival, someone I've not seen before. We appreciate you. So now, since we're all sort of caught up, I'm going to get Raquel's rating on Mark of Gideon, and then I will give mine, and then I will ask you, my wonderful chat, for yours. So go for it, Raquel.
This is as high as I am willing to go for corporate Star Trek. This is corporate Star Trek, and it's not good. I'm going to give it a C- and say,
there you go. I'm giving it a D.
Not surprised.
D-. Dave Bob, what's up, buddy? And now, my wonderful chat, please give us your rating of the Mark of Gideon. And I'm going to try not to miss anyone, my brothers and sisters. All right. Let's see here. Okie dokie. All right, here we go. Now, I think we're at the front. Matthew Pounder, welcome. It's good to see you.
Hey.
All right, I'm going to make sure I'm starting at the beginning. If anyone tells me I'm not at the beginning, please let me know. If anyone, Dark Shadow Logan. I'm hoping this is the first one. D minus. I guess that means a minus because I don't want to change his rating there. But anyway, let's see here. D minus. Writing. Bill Gates obviously got inspiration from this episode. Unrealistic view on overpopulation, big time. Oh God, so ridiculous. With their tech, they could colonize other planets. Absolutely. Being TOS is the only thing stopping it.
Right.
An F.
Right. Dark Shadow Logan. Right.
Fair enough, sir. Fair enough. Let me see. Whoa, what happened? Chat totally jumped on me. I hate your chat. Okay, wow, did I jump?
It's okay. Take your
chat
time.
totally leaped on me, folks. Can't even find his comment now. All right, hang on, everyone. Oh, God. Don't say it. I almost said it. I almost cussed bad because I'm really pissed off at the stupid chat thing.
Snortapoopus just nailed the chat to the floor.
Here we go. Oh, God, why would I do that, man? Oh, I almost lost all of it. I was just StreamYard sucks sometimes. Well, chat,
It does.
There are good things about it, but the chat really sucks.
Yep.
Okay. Now here we go. All right. Snortapoopus Cooler D minus. I don't buy a complete duplicate of the Enterprise that can fool someone who's been aboard the ship for at least 4 years. Yes, especially the captain. Could be built. Every little scratch and ding faithfully copied.
And how would they even know? How would they even know what it looked like? That's not like standard Starfleet practice. You don't reveal the entire interior of the Enterprise to prospects of the Federation.
Yeah, I've always hated this one, and it's mainly if you just take the stupid out, it's boring. Let's see here. 1.5 for Dave Bob. We haven't seen one of those before. It was hey JT Kirk, bite your tongue. Top, yeah, okay, it's a top tenner. It's a bottom tenner. Hey, it is a bottom tenner because I've done way back on my show years ago. I did a bottom worst episodes of TOS, and it was in there. Yep. It was on there. So you got it right, really, in a sense. You just got bottom, not top. D, as in dull. Enough said, D. Bud Martin. Yes, sir.
Agreed.
Agreed, Lord Fourth. D minus. This one isn't the worst episode, but, man, this one is awful. Boring. An Enterprise on a planet with zero room, yes. Not in a zero room, not meaning as the Doctor Who zero room, everyone. Ugh. Who wrote this? Well, I hate to say Cyrano Jones did. I mean, was Sherry Lewis involved in writing that one, or was it a different one?
No, that's a different one.
Okay.
This was written by Stanley Adams and George F. Slavin, or Slavin, however you want to say it.
That's a pseudonym if I ever heard one. Who wrote this? STD writers? No, might as well have.
It is corporate Star Trek, though, right?
So. Oh, yeah, same thing. Blood, what is blood? Ridiculous. Oh my God, was it bad? I like no offense to the lovely Sharon Acker either. She was perfectly fine, not her fault. Eric K, D minus, Selena Green is people. God, those stupid faces on the screen made me want to even what was it? Why not just do a order at Viruses R Us? What do they eat? How do they sleep? Make boom boom, anything. Where is the septic system to hold all the sewage into worse? And they had the guy from Mud's Women in that one.
Oh, I love you, Eric. Make a boom boom. Let's make it the boom boom. I love you, Eric.
They had the dude from Mud's Women. You notice that in that one? One of the big tall bald dude or whatever.
What?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I was just reading the chat. Can you please repeat yourself? I beg your pardon.
No, the guy from Mud's Women was in that one.
Oh yeah, what's his name again?
I forget his name.
It'll come to me in a minute.
Brad Fisher, a big D, indeed, sir. It is a big D, isn't it?
As in
Big D
dump.
as in Dolphin, true, absolutely. Sandra, I couldn't find that one you did. If you want to throw us that other one from earlier, I do apologize, my friend. I did not mean it. You know me with this thing. C minus. People with the ability to self-heal would be able to heal themselves of human diseases, too. There's a nice one. Very good point. Evidently, privacy during sex isn't necessary either. How about the fact that this guy was willing to, he didn't give a crap about his daughter.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but did you hear the block coverage though? Like it sounds as though the original script that they originally turned down that involved the actual like Jean and Dorothy that was actually a decent script, but what came out afterwards was crap. They removed everything that made the episode make sense.
They sure did that. Whew, did they ever? Steve Ernest, C minus disclaimer. I grew up watching these since age 10, so the bad episodes get graded on the curve line. Look,
It's true.
We totally understand that, sir.
I do that often, Stephen. There are some episodes where I'm like, you know what? This was an A for me when I was little, but now, so don't worry, Stephen.
Indeed. JT Kirk, Warp 9 out of 10. Wow. And this is only because Sharon Acker is a top 3 Trek gal for me. I think she's cute, but I mean, she was adorable, but I guess. But also in TNG and later, this Enterprise would just be a holodeck creation. Yeah. There you go. RN, as in Raymond. Feliciano, D, 1 out of 5 Spurpies. A lot of plot holes, poor method, and presenting it. I'm right Raymond. There with you. Elagabalus, D, Gideon Strumpet. Woo. Everyone's too busy expletive deleting versus investing in space travel and immunological research. That's a good point. Another forgettable 3rd season episode. I wish I could forget it. Just kidding.
Yeah, no. And why was she a strumpet? Why did she hope to have Kirk, throw himself into the volcano with her? They would go hand in hand into the volcano together. Why did she feel that? Very strange. And that's another giant gaping Swiss cheese hole in this episode.
This was written just like it was written by STD writers, almost, except they didn't, with some exceptions, because it just no thought went into it. Or all the thought, as you said, all the thought was taken out of it.
Chris Persia. Yes, sir. That is exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, I'll see it soon, I hope. Phantom Outsider C, felt bad for all those people waiting online at the DMV. Why not march them into the reactor core? Whereas the Reject killer, where's the Reject killer? When you need him. Sharon is empty. Just gotta, there you go. Bring him to Sharon. He's got another one.
Yeah.
I gotta find that one, bud.
Snortapoopus says, I
Burning
love a
bigot
good
smell.
Strumpet with my tea.
Also, Scalus was almost empty too. One more thing on whom God's destroy Mar to solve the problem of male infidelity, and that was probably why it was bad.
Phantom Outsider.
All right, let's see if I don't want to miss anybody, because when I have to make a jump like that, that's how I end up missing somebody.
Yeah. I know. Don't worry.
Phoenix Argus. F for effing stupid. Yeah. I can't argue with that. Life is important, but we also advocate for self-euthanasia. This thing was all over the place. Here's a thought. Colonize another planet, build space habitats, construct what do you call it? Arcologies? Mm-hmm. Arcologies? Well, arcologies, whatever it is.
Human arcs, yes.
The arcs, fair enough. All that, and yes, again, they were very contradictory. Life means so much to us, Captain. We can't use contraception, but we can kill my daughter because we want to die.
It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Philosophically, these people would have to be brain dead. They would have to have the IQ of a carrot to accept that as their philosophical, the guiding principle of their philosophy.
It was ignorant. It was Mark D with a C. D. And that man, he's a pretty easygoing fellow too.
He is. He's like Rod Thunderheart. He tries to give as high a rating as he possibly can. Of course, he's a Trekkie.
2 out of 5. Mark's episodes makes no sense scientifically while clumsily trying to promote a pro-life message. It almost sounds like it was the reverse of it in a sense, but yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Number 2. Great line by Spock. Diplomats and bureaucrats may function differently, but they achieve exactly the same results. Yes, that was a great line.
Yeah, Phoenix Argus said a 2 out of a 3. Did we get him? Like Phoenix Argus said, not enough room to live on, but enough room to construct a replica of the Enterprise. Yeah, I said that too. The materials and equipment would have taken up more room just to build it. Yeah, exactly, Phoenix Argus. I totally agree.
I don't know what timestamp he's at because it may not be.
He's on 54.
Oh yeah, I'm not there yet. All right. C-. Elon's mom just said Dogecoin on SNL. Elon Musk's mom is on there with him. Weird. I hope my crypto goes up, baby. Okay, that's a review of something. So that's fair. Pat, what are you doing, dude? What's wrong with you? I'm just kidding. That's what you do. Katie says, I don't remember seeing this episode. I'll give it a D. That's fair enough. You don't have to. Katie, don't. Just don't bother. I mean, if you want to do it, I'm just saying. At your own risk, Katie.
Stephen Ernest at 54 minutes past the hour says, Arcology, a portmanteau of architecture and ecology, is a field of creating architectural design principles for very densely populated and ecologically low-impact human habitats. Google. Well, thank God for Google, because I just looked at the root word and made assumptions. So, nice. That is a Google smart. Yes. But I think everybody got the gist. But thank you so much for looking that up, Stephen.
An Eshpic on the way, folks. And this is probably the lowest rating you're ever going to see out of Esh. This should tell you something about the mark of Gideon.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
3. C-. Bottom line, there was unnecessary stuff. And basically this race just either needs to stop getting down and dirty or just get these people some condoms. Some condoms, yes.
Well, they are wearing body condoms, Esh. Look at their body condoms. Like
the way those dudes dress. Yeah, they got condoms on their heads.
Yes.
Oh shit. Oh man. Esh. Corporate involved writing. Raquel, I believe the words you are looking for are "kiss my ass." Yeah.
Those are the exact words I'm looking for.
Number 3 of 3 for Esh. Also, I want to apologize. I've no more to add this week as I only watched 3 of 5 episodes. Sorry, off to the brig.
That's it.
Yep, you are in detention, young man.
Go to the brig.
But is that bad? Raquel is the only brig. Hey, buddy, we understand. We love you no matter what. I love you. We forgive you just this one time. Don't ever let it happen again.
I like
major malfunction, numb nuts.
I like snortapoopum. Snortapoopus. Mama Musk. That sounds like a demented bovine animal.
Okay. This episode is Bohemian Rhapsody. Meets Jedi, meets Silent Green, meets Ford, meets. Well done.
Katie, nailed it.
Well done. There you go. The great Chris Persia. Finally got one by Chris. If I missed you before, bro, but I'm sorry, man. D- for Chris Persia. It felt like something that the CCP would have included as an educational piece to continue promoting their system of registering to have a child. Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love Chris.
Well done.
That's a great comment.
Well done, great wrench. Oh, God, there we go. Let's see. Let's make sure. I know I'm missing people. Sandra, did I get Sandra's? Because I don't see Sandra's. I think she's referring to something earlier. I'm sorry. So sorry, Sandra. Did I miss one before? We'll see if she's got one for this one.
They've evidently never heard of birth control, Sandra says.
Oh, okay. We're up to that one yet. Good. We're almost there.
I'm going to look for her. I think we read it, but I'm not sure.
Let's see here.
We have all of these great conversations where there are so many voices.
Oh yeah.
I think we read hers right out the gate.
I think we got. Did we already get this one from Phoenix Argus?
Yes, we
F-repping
did.
stupid
That's
yeah,
a gooder.
Yeah, there we go. How did I miss that? I thought we got that. I thought I don't know how I
It's
back
because
that back far.
he gave you a multi.
Oh, he reposted it. Okay, he read that. I got
Yeah,
you.
because it came up in a weird order, and then we didn't end up getting his. I read it, but if for some reason it just populated in a weird order on our side.
I got you. Not enough room to live on, but enough room to construct a replica of the Enterprise. That's a big thingy there. The materials and equipment would have taken up more room just to build. They could have just had it. If you wanted to do that, make it where they put him on some machine that makes him hallucinate that he's doing it, a la The Prisoner or something.
Yeah.
You got the technology instead of just so stupid. Everything about the episode is freaking stupid.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Oh,
Draco's here. Hey, Draco.
Draco.
We've seen you.
Draco. Good to see you. Let's see here. Make sure I'm almost there.
Mark D with the C. You could just rename this episode "Every Sperm is Sacred."
Every sperm is sacred.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing it since they're wearing body condoms. Do you know what I mean? Maybe their reproductive juices come out of their forehead. I don't know.
Could be. Could be. There's some dumbass planet right there. Let's see here. All right, let's see. I think I hope. Oh, I did. Okay, thank you, Sandra. I'm so sorry about that. Trying to catch up now, folks. We're about ready to move on, but I just wanted to make sure. I think we've caught up. If we missed anyone, please let me know. Because I miss people all the damn time. Let's see here.
Chris says, Clobby, the third part of Phoenix Argus's message is at 57 minutes past the hour.
Say again?
It's at the third part of Phoenix Argus's reply to you is at 57 minutes past the hour.
Okay. Oh,
Chris just offered that up.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you so much, Chris. Chris and Eric. We would not be able to produce this show without you. Thank you for all of your help behind the scenes too, getting books and just caring about us and helping us organize things. We love both of you very much.
I can't find it. It's got to be there somewhere. Thing goes fast on me. Did he say that was Phoenix's?
Yeah, I actually don't have Phoenix's
57.
comment on my side. I don't have it either.
Didn't show up on mine.
No, weird. I don't have it either. I got the 2 out of 3 at order.
It's a 58. I got one. This is the first time I have blasted Trek and done multiple posts for it that Phoenix had. I got that one, Phoenix, but I couldn't find the other one, buddy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you need to do that more often, Phoenix, because I loved all of your comments.
Yeah,
and 200 characters is not enough for you to be able to express yourself. Sorry that the StreamYards is acting funny. Maybe it's because it's busy tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really messy. Eric tells me that there was let's see here. By the way, Katie did mention that earlier about whom gods destroy that is because she is a dancer herself, by the way.
Yes, ballerina.
That she thought the dancing wasn't bad by Mar and had a nice pointed feet. Well, she would be good at critiquing that sort of thing. So there you go. All right. Thank you. That was one that Eric let me know about. So thanks, brother. Appreciate you. All right, everyone. For better or worse, we're going to move on because we are ready for our next. We've got 2 more to go, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's hop to it. I think we're making fairly decent time now.
I think we've zoomed. We've zoomed.
For us, we've zoomed. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get it on. As Big John McCarthy would say. That's a Pancration reference. I hope you don't mind.
I'd mind not.
Okay, so the lights of Zatar, or as I lovingly call it, the croaking of Zatar. I also call it the glowing frogs of Zatar. Season 3, episode 18, prod code 73. If you're following along in the block text, we are on block or brick 325, 326. Let's do it. Oh, Liger fans leaving? Says, take care, everyone. Liger fan.
Have a good one, Liger fan.
Good
Thank you.
night. Thank you for coming. All right. As the Enterprise delivers science specialist Mira Romaine to Memory Alpha, the Federation's Central Library facility, Chief Engineer Scott falls in love with the pretty lieutenant, and the feeling is mutual, giving rise to hopes for a bright future. But a strange storm suddenly strikes the library's planetoid location, killing all the residents and somehow endowing Mira with eerie precognitive abilities that allow her to predict where the storm will strike next. The Enterprise. Soon, Mira seems to be in communication with the entities that make up the energy storm, the collective life force of the last survivors of the dead planet Zatar. The entities are searching for a host body they can inhabit, and, much to Scotty's dismay, Mira's psychological attributes make her the best candidate. A large percentage of television viewing public remembers Shari Lewis as a perky, ponytailed female ventriloquist, generally seen in the company of an adorable sock puppet named Lamb Chop. A smaller percentage is aware that Lewis and her husband, book publisher Jeremy Tarcher, wrote the Star Trek episode The Lights of Zatar. Lewis was a devout fan of the series, so selling a script to the show was one half of a dream come true for her. Unfortunately, the other half of her dream, to be cast as Mira, the character she'd placed at the center of the story, didn't come to pass. The role went to the actress Jan Schutan. It may have been Lewis's closeness to Mira's story that blinded her to what many fans consider the episode's primary flaw. The story centers on an outsider, a character who isn't a regular Enterprise crew member, and it's her life that's in jeopardy, not one of the big three, Kirk, Spock, or McCoy. But alas, the audience, unlike lovelorn Scotty, has no emotional investment in Mira's outcome. Even though Scotty often handled the transporter controls himself, the odds are that the first thing most people saw when they beamed aboard the Enterprise was the smiling face of Mr. Kyle, which is not to say that Kyle never managed to leave the transporter room throughout the starship's 5-year mission. He saw service in many parts of the ship, including turns on the bridge as a relief helmsman and the science station officer. But Kyle seemed most at home manning the transporter. Little is known about the crewman's background, although he seemed to be a nice guy. He did, after all, offer a bowl of chicken noodle soup to a confused security guard in Tomorrow is Yesterday. Played by British-born actor John Winston, Mr. Kyle is the only non-American crewman viewers met whose non-American accent, Yorkshire in this case, was authentic. He would eventually appear in 11 episodes, 3 in season 1, 7 in season 2, and 1 in season 3, ranking him only behind Nurse Chapel as a reoccurring minor character with dialogue who had the most appearances. Actor Billy Blackburn's Navigator actually appeared in 61 episodes, but he never had a single line of dialogue.
Oh, Billy Blackburn.
The Lights of Zatar was Winston's final appearance on the original series. Although Kyle would appear in 6 episodes of Star Trek, the animated series, the character was voiced by James Doohan. But Winston would return to the Star Trek fold one last time to reprise Kyle in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And that is all the block text has to say about the croaking of Zatar, the glowing frogs of Zatar, the lights of Zatar. What did you think of this coverage?
Interesting, because I was wondering if they were going to mention. I didn't know they were going to mention Mr. Kyle, but I didn't realize that was his last appearance until, as far as the actor, especially toward Wrath of Khan. The Sherry Lewis thing, though, I don't know why I always thought it was the other one, but it was this episode. Lamb chop. As a kid, who doesn't remember Kukla, Fran, and Eileen and lamb chop and all that stuff? Weird. You know, I got to be honest with you. I don't really have a lot of hard feelings one way or the other on this episode. I thought there were a few interesting concepts later in the episode touched upon, but I really just thought it was kind of a bore in a sense. I mean, some of the stuff with Scotty, giving Scott, having an episode with Scotty and a love interest is okay. I guess.
JT Kirk is now calling Lieutenant Romaine Romaine Lettuce.
Oh my God. How dare you, sir?
Let us entertain you with Romaine. JT Kirk.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this. I gotta be honest with you. It was a whole bunch of nothing happening. I mean, we go to Memory Alpha, we find these people are killed by these things. This is another example, nowhere near, by the way, on the level of some of the ridiculousness of Let This Be Last Battlefield, or even more so a Mark of Gideon. The concept that we're dealing with here with the lights of Zatar, which we don't find out till later, is just another one of those things. Just it's willy-nilly. It's thrown out there, and they don't give you a lot of explanation what these things are necessarily. Just 100 people left from the planet that became non-corporeal beings, and their attacks center on the parts of the brain. And I'm not sure there was any kind of nugget there to begin with or anything of an episode. And so, but we can beat these things. We'll just stick the lady inside the pressure chamber.
For no reason.
Then we'll beat them, and the episode will be over.
Ribbit.
Yeah. And it was kind of, I don't want to say, was it filler? I mean, yeah, look, we need that filler because we got the syndication package.
Yep, it's corporate Star Trek. I like what Stephen Ernest says. Wow, that would have been awesome to have Shari Lewis guest star. This is the episode that never ends because it goes on and on, my friend. Love you, Stephen Ernest. It's such a gooder.
Yeah. And, I guess we'll never find out if she leaves the ship or whatever. I mean, after that, or if they get, if they have a longer relationship. I the actress was fine. No problem with Scotty getting a love interest. You can do that in an episode, but you just don't have a story here.
Yeah.
Really don't. I mean, it's just sort of, and it's not even, it didn't, like the things I was bitching about in Mark of Gideon or in Let That Be Your Style of West Battlefield or other episodes. I don't really have a lot of that here, to be honest with you, other than maybe the alien things could have used some definite way better writing and explaining, and even though the episode could have been way less boring.
See, I actually hate this episode because I don't even see them as aliens. Or
whatever the hell they are, yeah.
Yeah, I see them as like poltergeist. I see them like it's like almost like an exorcism has happened because it's like we existed on this planet and then we died unexpectedly. So now 100 of us are going to sail through the galaxy until we find a body to inhabit.
It's just. Yeah, I guess to me it was more dull than anything else. It was kind of, because to me there's a lot more stupid stuff in the last one we just talked about, Mark Gideon, but it's not good. It's just, so I'm with you. But look, anything you want to beat up on this one, go for it. Because it's just kind of there. So,
okay,
you got any notes? Go for it.
I sure do. In my notes, in case you have never joined us before, I watch all of the Star Trek episodes in linear order every single year. And this year, I'm making notes so that I have them for our show. So these are some of the notes that I wrote while I was watching it tonight. Memory Alpha, the line about protecting Memory Alpha makes me burst out laughing. Because nobody did protect Memory Alpha. And it needed protection. And then I have Lamb Chop. And then I have
Lamb Chop.
No one cares about you, Mira Romaine, because we don't even know you. Nice job, executives who chased away the core of Star Trek and replaced it with corporate interests. Also, Romaine, stop being a bitch to Chaplin McCoy for no reason.
Yeah, that
also,
was pretty stupid.
Do something about your spurpies. has terrible spurpies in
Oh,
this,
shit.
and it appears and reappears, and they call a 37-year-old woman a girl, and it's marvelous.
They were calling it girl, girl, girl. I was even
Isn't it
Spot.
beautiful? I want to be called a girl for the rest of my life. I'm nearly a half a century old, and I want to be called a girl for the rest of my life. And she's beautiful. No doubt she is beautiful. If you don't mind spurpies, she's all yours. Why did they put her in a decompression chamber? Why? Why does decompression cure twinkly space communities whose brain patterns turn humans into glowing, croaking frogs? This is The Exorcist. No, Shari Lewis.
Why didn't they perform an Exorcist song? Go ahead.
Yeah. And then in my notes, I put Shari Lewis. No, Shari Lewis. You are a super fan, but you left out all the very best parts of Star Trek. Science, cerebral stories, central character risk that we actually care about, and outstanding dialogue, and outstanding banter. I don't care about Rando Romaine. Sources report she did this. Oh, yeah. Sources report that Shari Lewis did this on purpose. She wanted to shine a light beyond the Trinity. Well, you definitely pooped the bed there, Shari Lewis. It did not work.
No, it did not. Project Storytime and Pop Culture Archivalist. Hey, what's up, dudes? It's like a big nothing of an episode.
It is.
I don't blame you for hating. Don't get me wrong. I just can't even work up a lot of emotion about it. I'm like, this kind of just episode was definitely
different.
Yeah, it's kind of just, it was shot and exists, and it takes up time, a lot of time.
Yep.
Almost 50 minutes of your life.
Yeah.
Where you're sitting around, and yes, you're spending it with characters you love. And that's fine. And it's just, I don't know.
It's a Halloween episode that worked on me in the 70s, and it may have worked on me for part of the 80s, but not really. Just the 70s. And then after that,
I think what's always stood out to me, because it's so forgettable, was the stupid scene on Memory Alpha when the poor lady is, the frog, I mean, I understand what they're, now that I got older, I understand why they're saying it happened, but it always just looks stupid. It came off as dumb, like, wow, this one, Jesus. Oh boy. And not a good one.
Yeah. The glowing frogs of Zatar. What else can you say?
Well, I guess we could just go ahead and rate it. I'll get your rating. I'll give mine, and then we'll ask our wonderful chat for their rating. What do you think?
Okay, well, I was really nice to this episode because I love Star Trek. I don't love corporate Star Trek, and that's what this is, because, that's what happened so that we could get to syndication. So it's a means to an end. However, I'm not too happy about it. I find it very unsatisfying. I'm going to give it the highest rating I can possibly give it, which is a C-. And so many raspberries, I would turn into Sylvester. It would be suffering succotash, and this entire microphone would be short-circuited from slobber.
Oh, I love it. I'm giving it a D. I just think this episode is D for Dolphin. Yeah, sure. It doesn't get the minus part because at least it doesn't have all the unbelievably moronic crap that Mark of Gideon does, which is my top 2 or 3 worst pieces of garbage episodes of all, as you all probably know now. And I don't have a lot of strong dislike. I just don't like it. I sit there and watch it, and if you make me numb, it's almost as bad as if you make me angry, because at least I could have fun destroying Mark of Gideon.
Have an opinion, yeah. Clobby, Captain. I beg your pardon. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, sir. Katie Carr, at 17 minutes past the hour, has left a B- rating, and in so doing, has bid us adieu.
Katie, thank you. We will read your rating off. But first, I want to say, have a wonderful night, my friend. Yeah. We love you, and we're so happy to see you here. We hope you're doing well.
Yes, we do love you, and we hope to see you next week.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you, Katie. Thank you for your rating there. And I'll read this. I'll rate it B-. I'm going to head. Okay, you head out. But so Katie's a B-. She's very nice. She's such a sweetheart.
Yes.
And I'm sure somewhere out there, Lamb Chop appreciates that. We love you, Katie. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone, throw your ratings out there if you will. The great Dave Bob. Dave Bob, I appreciate you being here, buddy, and I do understand you're a Trek snob like me. 0.5. So
That is a
that's like
great rating, Dave Bob.
half impulse or JT Kirk, did you I've seen number 2 of one that you put up, so I don't see the first one. You had a 2-parter there, brother? Let's see. Now I'm confused. 2 of 5.
Wow.
Clark,
And I don't see anything at all.
I don't see the first one, brother. I'm gonna try to backtrack and find it. I don't have the first one, and I'm looking, and even I wouldn't miss this one.
Well, I don't have anything from JT on this side at all. So
I've got
great job, StreamYards.
Oh yeah, I've got JT saying, let's see, the first one I've got from you, JT, says 2 of 5. 5. Well, I'm just gonna
love it.
So I don't have the first one, brother, so I'm gonna have to go with 2. I apologize to you, sir. 2 of 5. Corporate decisions that turned the freaking frogs gay. Yeah, I know. I get the reference. Turn the frogs gay. All right. I know what you're talking about. But I don't know if that's a rating. So I don't know if that's a rating, bro. So I'm sorry. I should have checked that one. I can't find the first one though. So I'm trying to find more ratings. Everyone, hang on. Okay, we got Sandra, and I hope this is the starting point. He was probably talking with someone. He wasn't. He didn't mean it as a rating. So, all right. C. From Sandra Feliciano. Thank you, Sandra. So a race living in the cold, dark vacuum of space has no trouble living in the warm body of a solid, oxygen-breathing, warm human. Right. I love you.
I love you.
You rock. Sandra rocks. Dark Shadow Logan. D-. Contrived story. Scotty was laughable in this. Scotty was kind of a they're trying. Scotty, some of the stuff he does in there is a little.
He's not clingy boyfriend. That's not who Scotty is. Scotty's not clingy boyfriend. Get away from me. You're too clingy.
Yeah, and he's dedicated. That, in fact, the episode. Now I'm going to start getting. Now you made me think about things that do aggravate me. The first thing out of his pie hole in the first episode, the first bit, is telling her how wonderful and fantastic she is. What is this? STD?
Yeah. This is what I mean. This is what I'm saying. This is corporate Star Trek, and it blows.
It sucks. Bad episode. Scotty was laughable in this. The way he acted throughout the episode, more science fantasy than science fiction, and the way they concluded the story, no real purpose to the story. It was like, it reminds me of that line from one of the one of the MST3K episodes when they were showing this island Earth. They were showing all this different weird-looking gadgetry of the 50s. As increase /Gordon noise and add more science stuff. Like, they just make things look weird because we don't understand anything we're doing.
They're giving ratings out of lamb chops, but not like lamb chop. Lamb chop.
D. So he does like this episode. What? Mike going to give it a? Oh yeah, no, yeah. D's a high rating, isn't it? All right, here we go. I hate when this thing jumps on me. There we go. Oh, I already got Dark Shadow Logan, didn't I?
Yep.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Yeah, I agree. Dark Shadow Logan. No purpose to the story.
C- from Phantom Outsider, giving Scotty the girl is nice. The bland of Zatar. Yes. For Mark of they can import those disintegration booths. For Mark of Indians, they could from Taste of Armageddon, or import Snortopubis Q-Bird to send them out. One, it's got a 2-parter on me. These 2-parters.
Oh, Phantom Outsider! I just love it.
I'll get to your second one when I can find it, sir. I'm gonna have to go in order this time. Skipping gets me in trouble, but I'll find it, brother. Snortopubis Q-Bird. D. A love story for Scotty, but having him act like a mooing adolescent is just silly. That's a very good point. It's a good thing the pressure needed to drive the Zatars out of Romaine's body isn't high enough to crush her. Nice. Yeah. Well said. That's a good one. Lord thought it. D+. Meh. Oh, there you go. That's higher than mine. Meh. Enterprise orientation lesson 17 cadets. 17 cadets. Keep those vents closed, troops. Otherwise, psychedelic 60s light drug trip forthcoming. Don't lick the dude talking like a frog. Oh, by the way, did you notice? Have you ever noticed the scene when when they leave the conference room and they're all walking out, and there's this dude who's supposed to look like he's working, and he's like he's standing next to a wall and he's doing nothing. He's like he's a motion where he's turning a wheel or some crap, and nothing in his hand.
Nothing.
Holy shit! You caught that, did you? Oh my god! I hadn't watched it in a while, of course.
So bad.
I watched it. I had to run it back a couple of times. I haven't watched it in years because I don't watch this episode much. It sucks. I'm like, what in the hell?
Snortapoopus. Nom nom nom.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a single. Well, I'll try to find it, JK. I could not. That was a. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what the review meant, sir. I'm sorry, but if you got a rating, please throw it up there, brother. JT Kirk, please throw the rating up there if you got it, buddy. Let's see. Our Feliciano D. The only redeeming thing about this is the Scotty romance, but
then you have to endure the episode.
Okay, he just left us in suspense there. I give it a D minus, says Jed.
Okay, Jed.
C minus for Chris Persia. C minus 3 out of 5. Zathras. What is Zathras there for? Zathras see this episode. Zathras say episode sucks, and Zathras goes. All of Zathras doubles. This was not the one. Oh, that's what the Zathras. I'm sorry. If I kept going, I would have got the Zathras. You're not the one. Not the one. What? Not the one. Sorry, Zathras stuff there. You'll get it one day when you watch B5.
That's coming up. I'm almost there.
Oh, greatness. To properly highlight Scotty Northey, to enhance his interpersonal relationships. All right, let's see here. Ilagabulas. That wasn't a rating, was it, Mark? Mark D with a C? He gave us one already, didn't he? I think he did. Mark D with a C wrote something, and that's what's confusing. But I don't see a rating there. Okay. I think he gave me one. D minus for Ilagabulas. No amount of Zeatar can save this overcooked lamb chop of a ham-fisted plot. One positive, I like to focus on Scotty.
Yes. That is a very, very good review of this episode. That is a solid review.
Well done. On a side note, says Phantom Outsider, in a rumor I just made up, Lieutenant Romaine Lettuce was apparently killed by a giant sock puppet. And was it Kukla, Fran, and Ollie, or Lamb Chop? Has anyone seen Lamb Chop? All right. Eric K, C minus. Why no backstory on the relationship? Because we're too busy being lights of Zetari. Yeah. Only thing good is when Kirk talks about a man of Scotty's years falls hard, and at the end, Kirk realizes it is something he does not have as well. Fair enough? Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Single rating. 2 of 5. I'm sorry. Okay, I got you. Thank you, JT Kirk. I'm an idiot. 2 of 5 corporate decisions that turn the freaking. Okay, I got you. I know what you're referring to now. Also, Scotty deserves better than a common head of romaine lettuce and turkeys. B. Bud Martin. Z. Oh, sorry, I fell asleep. Yeah, who didn't? The people responsible for this should be forced to watch all of P. Hard and dysentery as punishment.
D. Bud Martin. This is so good.
Let's see. Ash, who has not watched this episode and is in the penalty box. He is in he's in the agony booth.
He is.
Yeah. Your agonizer, please. Let's see. Clobbering Johnson, Briggs. There's only one thing that TOS and SCD have in common. Season 3 was the worst out of all of their respective seasons. Well, wow. Well, I guess that's at least they have something in common. Pat S, C minus. Jerry Lewis spelled differently, but yeah, I got you. This episode, Jerry Lewis. Jerry Lewis. It's not very funny, but His best work always was with Dean Martin. Yeah, Dean Martin should have wrote this episode. Oh, Dean Martin could have wrote it better when I'm. Can't do Dean Martin. I'm sure the French love this one. Oh, dude, love it. You guys did make me hungry for lamb chop and mint jelly. Well, there you go.
Very nice.
Now what? Oh, I hate when this thing jumps like this. All right, let's see. Dave, I love TOS every episode, even if it is terrible.
Yep.
However, I will never say all eps were good. Fair enough.
No.
That's what. Oh look, I love it too. I just think we got to, when we're reviewing them, we got to call balls and strikes, buddy. What can I tell you?
We do.
Mark D with a C. D. 2 out of 5 lamb chops, aliens, and story made no sense. Boring. Sounds like you've already got at least 2 people in there already. Good Ghostbusters reference. Might be a little crowded. I botched it, but that was a good Ghostbusters reference, buddy. Let's see here.
That ain't Scotty.
Yep, that is for sure, buddy.
Nope.
Let's see if we got everybody. We can move. Oh, Draco Argentus says, if I'm missing anyone, let me know, brothers. A D-. I think he means a minus. I see a story in it. Fair enough. But yeah, because some of the stuff with the, when they toward the end, when you finally find out something of what those lights are, you go, okay, that was a reference to something that, but they just don't tell you because they don't know themselves. But I don't think the writer understood what they were writing for here. Situations out of place, fantasy, science, characterization, faux pas, and moments blow my immersion. Well, that's a fair point. It is, because it's like a lot of. That you never know if something could have been salvaged from that by good writers, but they were all, well, they weren't in the building, as Raquel has pointed out.
Yeah, they left. They 100% left, and that's not lore. That's not rumor. Those are the facts. They say that they made it to mid season 3. However, there is a great deal of evidence that they left prior to that. It was really just about, at this point, the corporation pushing it to get syndicated. People wanted it to get syndicated, and that's why we have season 3.
At least we got, so something good came of it. So there you go.
Yeah. But on site filming, no. Well, Dorothy was gone, Jean was gone, and Jean was gone. So the nucleus, that core writing group that made Star Trek Special had abandoned ship. They were out floating on a piece of wood. The Titanic was going down.
Yes,
so yeah.
Stephen Ernest, I mentioned Freddie Freiberger many times. Yes, he did the second season of Space 1999 also. Mm-hmm. He's picked up some shows that were already in progress a couple of times.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, I got you. And I have mentioned him before. We haven't beaten up on him too much while we're in the third season here, but I have mentioned it. And yes, you can blame him all day long. That's fine. Again, I haven't seen the second season of Space 99 in a long time. I remember, even though it's still a good show, there's got some crazy stuff in there. Like he put Maya, whom I like, but she's got animal powers and crazy stuff. It's a very different show from the first season. If I remember right, you've watched it more recently than I have.
I love Space 1999. I love it. But yes, there were times when Martin Landau said that he felt like an Egypt, and he said that he could not believe what they were putting on film, and it was very, very different. The second season was entirely different. It was a whole different animal. Just the writing, the presentation, the characters, and Manimal, of course.
It's a familiar pattern.
Yes.
Yeah, I do love that lady, Maya.
She was. Yeah, she was absolutely outstanding, gorgeous, and beautiful redhead, and wonderful to look at, and a great actress. But we started off with Space 1999. We started off with something completely different. You could say it was a whole other animal.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. It was a good one, though. It works. Phoenix Argus. C. Suddenly, a decompression chamber made from the same materials as the rest of the ship, can stop a non-corporeal being that can survive in space. One of two. Yeah, it's not convenient, right?
Love Phoenix.
I've not seen your second one yet there. Yeah, it was Manimal time there. But when your second one pops up, I'll get to it because we're about to get to our next episode because I think we got all of our reviews. We got one more to go.
Yep.
That's true. Same thing happened on Buck. What was something Buck Rogers? Yeah, one day I'm going to talk all about that. But because I love Buck Rogers, but I hear you.
Hey, Pat S., don't you boo-hoo redheads? You got a redhead right here, Buster.
Are you booing redheads, Pat S? Don't make me come up there, young man. Oh dear. Well, I think. What's that, Draco?
We good?
Got one more to go. Yeah, how's it depart? Only a couple. Okay, well, Draco, thank you for being here. We appreciate you, sir. Yeah. So
anyway, you have to leave?
Yes. Draco, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by. I hope we'll see you again. I hope you're here next week.
Look who's here, Chuck.
Hey, Marble. Chuck Marble's here.
Let's pop in. Did anybody notice the pile of newspapers in sick bay? What? Reminds me of the Starbucks coffee and Game of Thrones. Was there? Oh man, no, sir. I did not notice that.
I don't know. I
wow. Oh, there's Phoenix August, second one there. Chuck, I did not see that.
I'm gonna go back
and look. Wow. Granted, this is the first time I've watched that episode in a while because I hate it, but wow. Phoenix August, Kirk's possession was better. Power play done in was better. Kirk's possession was better. And power play done in TNG was better. And this episode was redone on Enterprise, The Crossing. And as much as I do love Enterprise more than most people, I did not like that episode, The Crossing, too much. But I hear you. Yeah. But now here, and we'll review that one day. So no, thanks, Chuck. I did not know that. That is my weird stuff. Okay, well, we're moving on to our final episode of the evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Dun, dun, dun.
Or as Johnny Carson would say, and I hold in my hand the final episode. And everyone yells and screams and claps because it's the last one.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Here we go. All right, so our last one is
The Cloudminders, Season 3, Episode 21, Prod Code 74.
There we go, folks. The Cloudminders. Go for it, number one.
We're on the block text, tile 328. A deadly botanical plague has hit the planet of Merak II, and only one thing can stop it: Xenite, a rare mineral substance found on the planet Ardana. But when the Enterprise arrives to pick up the desperately needed shipment, Kirk discovers that he's arrived at an inopportune time. The planet's troglodyte population, which mines Ardana's valuable Xenite, while the rest of the populace lives a life of intellectual repose in the floating city of Stratos, has begun to chafe under the burden of inequity. The upper-class Stratos dwellers in turn feel that the troglodytes are naturally inferior and ungrateful to boot. While Kirk has sympathy for the underdog troglodytes, what he really needs is the promised shipment of Xenite, and the troglodytes are unwilling to provide that without concessions from the folks above. The design of Stratos, Ardana's beautiful city in the clouds, was based on one of Matt Jeffries' graceful renderings. The resulting model was built from lightweight extruding polystyrene foam, carved with a hacksaw and X-Acto blades, and stuck together with common white glue. Clumps of cotton were wrapped around the bottom of the cities to suggest clouds, and then the entire structure was hung from the ceiling against a screen conveying Ardana's brightly hued sky. The physical effect was later polished with the addition of a matte painting of clouds, which replaced the rather unrealistic cotton wadding. Assuming you had a transport card allowing you to travel up to the city, the view you would see from the balcony was, in reality, a high-altitude photo of the Dry River Basin in Saudi Arabia. U.S. astronaut Ed White shot the image in 1965 while engaged in EVA, extravehicular activity, far above Earth. The maneuver, the first ever American spacewalk, took place during the Gemini 4 space mission. A remastered version of The Floating City by the artists at CBS Digital, as interpreted by Star Trek authors Michael and Denise Okuda. The magnificent castle in the sky was a home worthy of Ardana's greatest artists, scientists, and scholars. Here among the clouds, they were free to pursue their studies, unfettered by mundane worldly concerns. But the jewel of Ardana's society concealed a dark secret. Few knew that those who toiled so long to build the glittering Acropolis were unfairly denied its benefits. Even fewer knew of the shocking barbarism that brutalized the lives of these workers. It was an injustice that would soon rock Ardana's society to its very roots. And in the process, a vital mission of mercy would be placed in jeopardy, endangering the lives of every living thing on the planet Merak 2. Oh, and then she just stops talking. All right,
Really?
so that's the end of the block coverage on the cloud minders. That was, yeah, doesn't she make some very odd choices? Just the way she constructs sentences, and then, yeah, I don't know. Raymond talks about it a lot in the chat, and sometimes I mention it when I'm talking. But yeah, that's it. And next, of course, being the way to Eden. But that is all the block text has to say about the cloud minders. I'd like to throw it over to the chat. And Clobby, what did you think of this coverage, this abrupt coverage?
It was abrupt, yes. Interesting about the, of course, the Cloud City. I've always thought, by the way, the Cloud City idea. I remember when I first saw it as a kid, it made me think of the Cloud City from Flash Gordon of the Hawkman. But I don't know if it was an homage to that or anything. But the episode itself, I don't know. Maybe time has affected me. I watched it today, and there's still a lot of things I just don't find particularly compelling about the episode. There are a lot worse episodes than this. It's just some of it. There's a lot of clunkiness to the script. Again, there's some actually pretty interesting ideas, but some mind-bogglingly bits about this episode that disturb me. For example, they say at the beginning, Kirk says that Ardana, right?
Yeah,
is a member of the Federation. Well, unless you're saying this sets some sort of precedent where they started to vet their members of the Federation better, the Federation that we later learn about would never allow a planet that treats have the population the way they do. They would not allow them admission to the Federation. What they do to the troglodytes wouldn't happen in the Federation, as I understand it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree.
So again, I don't know. It's kind of weird. What is it on the screen? Strange. Oh, wow, something happened. That's a strange. Okay. There was a glitch on the there. That's a strange glitch. Let's see here. Let me edit it. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. So just I was having a bit of a problem with my my ticker there. It's not working, and it don't mean my heart. Oh well, whatever. We'll just put it up like that. It's fine. I guess maybe I used too many of them. Sorry, everyone. I mean, it's distracted. This episode, though, there are a lot of clunky narratives that I don't like in it. Again, by the way, I don't mind if they had not said this is a Federation planet, it would have worked a little bit better in terms of the conflict and the story between the elites on the Cloud City and the people that they are, this class system that they have or whatever. But it totally makes no sense in fitting in with the Federation.
Yeah. Oh, I love Snortapoopus's comment at 42 minutes past the hour. Yeah, Snortapoopus, he says, I wish they had used a different name for the troglodytes instead of a thinly veiled rendering of troglodyte.
Troglodytes.
Yeah, I have so much difficulty with that. You have these Greek words. Chris Persia knows this. You have these Greek words, and then they try and sort of smash them together with Latin, and then sometimes they even sort of and then they add like an element of like make believe on top of it, or they do weird spellings. And so like when you're reading it at home and you're reading it to everyone, it sort of trips you up, because first of all, you want to read Greek, you instinctively would like to read it Greek, or you would like to make some sense of it. But once it's gone through the Greek, then Latin spelling, then magical process of inventing words, it can be quite difficult to read. So I love that comment, Snortopupus.
Well, yes, and but Spock does say it means
Cave dweller. Yep.
Dwellers. Yes.
Yep.
So yeah. Which I guess makes sense, some sense there.
But troglodyte is, Snortopupus is correct. It's an insult, right? You know, when you're looking at Plato's cave, somebody who's never left a cave, you troglodyte. And so yeah, it's yeah.
Phantom Outsider, that if they did, see, there's the thing, what I'm saying about maybe you're saying that maybe they misrepresented what was going on and the Federation accepted them. Federation usually vets a planet for a long time before they let them in the Federation.
Yep.
Again, maybe but obviously this planet was one, so maybe this changed how they deal with that sort of thing going after this incident or something like that. Dad Man Walking, welcome.
Hey,
good to see
welcome.
You. Always good to see you there. And who else? Someone else just popped in. Always a pleasure to see you. Doug 35. Hello. And by the way, I'll take a look at that in a second. Mark did with a C. Thank you, sir. He said he sent me a picture of the newspaper thing. So we will take a look at that. All right. And anyway, where was I? Okay, so yes, I just don't think they would have been in the Federation. Again, that didn't sit well with me. Also, clunkiness about this episode. Some characterization problems. First of all, and narrative problems. The narrative problem is we have an episode where they're using comic book thought bubbles. In other words, inside the thought of they're listening to Spock's thoughts and stuff.
I know it is quite unusual in Star Trek, isn't it? It's quite weird. It's not a captain's log.
No.
It's a Spock thought bubble.
It's right out of comic books, and they've done it in a few episodes only in the third season. Now, I love comics, and eventually, comics, even like somewhere in the 80s or so, abandoned thought bubbles because they didn't really make a whole lot of narrative sense, and they were kind of, people, I hate to use the word cheesy, but they did used to use them in comics. Then they stopped after a while. But this was the 60s; all comics had them, and some of these people writing these were reading comics. And they thought, well, they do it in comics. Let's have Spock just think out loud like this. Wouldn't just some sort of exposition be better? Again, I don't know. It just feels weird. Well, there's at least the problems with the episode. The story in and of itself is not particularly compelling or terrible, in my opinion. It's just kind of there. But again, the makers of this episode, even more so than in the previous one I was mentioning, should probably be brought up on charges for the torture of making people being filmed on camera wearing the most idiotic outfits I've ever seen. These guards on the Cloud City, these sentinels, this crap on, I don't know what was worse, the crap on their heads or these skirts these dudes had to wear.
Yep.
And these boots they had to wear. Like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
Probably, so I don't know what it seems to be, didn't see in this episode. Holy shit. I'm told Fred Williamson is in this episode, everyone. I didn't find him. Maybe that was him, the Hammer. But if it was,
he plays Anka.
No, I thought he was one of those two in the cave. Not the white dude, though.
No, not the white dude. Definitely not the white dude.
He did play. Okay, well, good. Well, I mean, the Fred the Hammer Williamson, who went on to many. He was, of course, a football player for the Kansas City Chiefs, and then that was right in that year. So I guess he got popular in Hollywood, and that was when he started making movies. The great, good old Fred Williamson. But also the great Jeff Corey is in this episode. It should be pointed out. Who was a very well-respected, a highly respected actor by many, many in the field, and of course was in the great movie Battle Beyond the Stars. And the Spock Droxine thing, lovely lady.
But where did that romance come from? Why was suddenly Spock fresh and flirty? What went on there? I mean, She wasn't particularly learned or cerebral by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, to say that one is an intellectual is entirely different than actually being an intellectual. She sort of seems to be a bit of a nincompoop, to tell you the truth. I mean,
Yeah,
he finds her thought process abhorrent. He finds her behavior and her prejudice and bias abhorrent. So I just don't understand why we have sexy Spock.
and yes, he's thinking. I mean, and he's thinking these thoughts about her.
He is.
She's gotten to him because how beautiful she is and all that kind of stuff. And I just don't even understand what they're with. I mean, obviously Spock has met beautiful women before, and he's never showed any emotion like it, unless, of course, something was messing with his mind, a la This Side of Paradise or something like that. He's in his normal mode. Now, again, we know he has a human side and all that stuff, so maybe in his thoughts that happens, but he never shows that emotion, and we certainly don't need to hear his thoughts about it.
Yeah, but it's like Snortapoopa said. This isn't the first time that the corporate season 3 messed with our Spock, and this is another time when they messed with our Spock. So exactly, Snortapoopas.
Exactly. So it was weird. It was, again, this whole season has clunky writing, clunky dialogue, and mischaracterizations at some points. I mean, it's just not a particularly compelling story. Again, there are things I'm not that worked up about it, like the past one before that, like I am as opposed to how much I hate Mark of Gideon or other episodes. I just don't like it very much. I don't think there's a whole lot to grab onto here. It's more filler up. Let's get us to that syndication.
Well, I know there are some things that you could grab onto. They're scantily clad. They're looking really good.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, of course. I'll let you say that, not me.
Okay, yes, of course, because you're the gentleman. I do love you, Clubby.
Oh, you're the best. Diana Ewing. I mean, look, yeah, and I thought the lady's absolutely wonderful. I mean, she's lovely and all that stuff. Sure.
Yep.
But I'm not a Vulcan, so Spock, you should maybe think of those stuff.
I love that the lady who plays Vanna, her name is Charlene Polite. I believe her last name is Polite, and she's anything but polite in this episode. Anyways, just some stupid trivia. Sorry.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that 7-year cycle moved up a little bit, bud. So as it looks like a 7-year cycle biologically. Yeah. And by the way, why the hell is he telling her that?
I don't know. Because he's not supposed to discuss it. As a matter of fact, he's on record as saying that Vulcan culture does not appreciate any tawdry talk about sex or ponfa. You don't discuss it outside of Vulcan, and certainly not with people who are not Vulcanese.
Kirk had to drag it out of him.
Yep, Kirk had to drag it out of him.
And now he's not. He was but wasn't even in full possession of his faculties when Kirk did drag it out of him. And this one is again another example of people writing the show or in charge that really never knew much about the show. And this
corporate Star Trek. Hey, Dee Dee Myers is here. Doug 35 here. Loki's here.
Loki's here. Oh my goodness, I'm way behind on my chat. Can't see anyone. Oh man. All right, Dee Dee. Loki, what's up, buddy? I don't know what that word is though. Can I pronounce that? Let's see. Gonorrhea, syphilis, dude. I want you to come on one night and say that. Next time we're on, dude, you got to say that, man. Belly button sensors. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
So anyway, the Cloud Minders, everyone. Hello there. It's good to see you both, by the way. Appreciate you, Loki, man. Appreciate you, Dee Dee Myers.
JT Kirk, you say, at Raquel, corporate Star Trek equals STD. Yeah, it does, but all corporations, as a communications and technology scholar, as an author myself, and an editor, this isn't the first time when we look at the filth, the modern filth. It's not the first time that the corporation has messed with the relationship betwixt the the reader or the watcher and the creator or the artist. And what they do is they put these people in charge of their corporate ideas and their corporate ideals, and that go-between destroys that communication. It's kind of like the Greek idea of broken telephone. You need to speak directly to the artist, and the artist needs to speak directly to the audience. You can't have something in between. And so when I say corporate Star Trek, it's very important for people to realize that in season 3, it is known, and it is a fact, that Gene L. Kuhn, Gene Roddenberry, and DC Fontana, and most of the people who worked on season 1 and season 2 walked away from Star Trek. They didn't want, they felt embarrassed by what was going to happen. Many of them felt gutted. They didn't appreciate the way that they were being treated. And now we've gone from Desilu to Paramount to the D&G or D&W or whatever, which is, basically a huge corporation that owns sugar plantations and clothing stores and things like that. So what they ended up doing, JT, is they literally went and said, look, okay, we own this now. And instead of having beautiful stories written by these core people and then taken and made lovingly by this wonderfully talented group of artisans in this production team, instead of doing that, what we're actually going to do is we're going to go and look at all the scripts that got dumped. And what we're going to do is we're going to recycle every single thing we possibly can to get this IP over the syndication hurdle. Now, it's my understanding that that was between 70 and 74, and they pushed it to 79 for good measure. So we know this. And this is fact. It's not rumor. It's not a part of Trek lore. It's not just stuff that Trekkies put on a user-generated forum. This is fact. This is what happened. So if we learn any lesson from season 3 in TOS, we learn that a corporation with executives should not insert itself into a bunch of creative people who are trying to make art, because what ends up happening is they crap all over the art, and you lose that connection betwixt the creators and the creatives and the audience, because you have that nasty corporation in between that changes the messaging and changes the environment, and it's very disheartening and very hard. So unfortunately, if you're an old Trekkie like I am, I've been watching Star Trek for about 45 years, then you know that the corporation has done this before. Not to the extent of the modern filth, but certainly before. And Trekkies, diehard Trekkies, aren't afraid to call them on it. Corporations have no business involving themselves in the creation of this art, because it is art.
Yep. There you go. Well said. Well said. Well, I will get your rating of the Cloud Minders and give mine, and we'll get the ratings from our wonderful audience. We're wonderful.
Okay, I'm going to quickly do my notes. I promise I'll be super fast.
I'm forgot. I didn't know we didn't do the notes yet. I apologize.
Okay. It's because you and I agree on so many things. Okay, so I said in my notes, this episode has all the raw material to become perhaps the greatest episode in Star Trek history, the best Star Trek of all time. But it brushes up against the issues it broaches without addressing them in a way that is meaningful and typical of Gene's Star Trek. This is corporate Trek, I put. The rest of my notes are Spock flirts. Why? Spock romance. Why? And then I put best cosplay for the ladies. And then I put this would have been a great dialogue on class wars. And then I say, Vanna stays down on the transporter pad for absolutely no reason. And then I put in my closing comment, lacking resolution suitable to the concept. So I have difficulty with this episode because it lacks resolution that is suitable to the concept. And the concept is very weighty. And the creation of this universe I think would have been absolutely marvelous. It was inspiring. It was like you could have made a spin-off series had this been in the hands of the 2 magic Jeans and the 1 magic Dorothy. And so yeah, it's just very unfortunate. They crapped the bed big time. So this is a C- for me, Captain Clobby.
Gotcha. Well, actually, I went with a C- also because they're just. I mean, again, I don't like it. It didn't really just kind of just doesn't anger me that much. It just didn't think it was very much good about it at all. But as we have all experienced this night, there are ones I hate a lot more. And so for me, is that. By the way, Lord Thoth, our great friend, had to leave, but he left his rating.
Oh, no.
He gave it a D plus. Which there you go for his rating. And now let's see, chat. Please throw up your ratings. On the cloud minders. Let's see what we got.
Yep. And Stephen Ernest says, unfortunately, that's why it's called show business. Yes, Stephen Ernest. But it's very important for people to remember that corporations sell advertising. And so, it's very important that they facilitate artists and artisanship and craftspersonship, and they make these beautiful things and then get the hell out of the way. They're not supposed to be the driving force behind these projects. And I will say this, that the corporate version of storytelling never works. Never. It never works. Ever.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. The great Dave Bob. Oh, I'm so glad to see you here tonight, buddy. C plus for Dave Bob. Hello, Louisianian. Got a few of those here tonight. Doug 35, a D. Let's see here. Dark Shadow Logan. C. Story Greek. Zeus like an influence. Spock romance. Female revealing costumes, pushing the lemons for the time. Very attractive actresses in this episode. Yes. Basic story about class warfare done poorly. Yeah. Because again, there were themes there for sure.
Yep. Just, excellent comment, Dark Shadow Logan. Right. Wonderful.
Yep. Sort of Poopas Cuba are one of 2. D. This episode can be summed up as here, wear these filters and keep digging. Yes. So, and you could be completely utter mentally, I can't use the word, but you know what I'm saying. You could be mentally affected, but you can just be cured of it. Really. It's temporary. Okay. Right. Somehow Ardana covered up a lot of problems when they were admitted to the Federation. Yeah. Again, I don't know how they got into the Federation.
Yeah. But here, wear these filters. What was that comment again? Here, wear these filters and keep digging. What a great thing to say, Snorta Poopas.
Way to go, Snorto. 2 of 2 for Snorta Poopas Cuber. Social inequality. Let's see. Admitted the Federation social inequality close to pretty much slavery. Really, pretty much slavery. Yeah. And a government that sanctions the use of torture. They also say things like they're inferior. That's not Federation-y.
No, it's not at all.
Thing, that troglodytes are civilized enough not to sabotage Stratos' anti-gravity system. Yeah, well, that's a good point.
Yep.
So yeah, it's they should not be in the Federation. Feliciano 2 B 2 words, drug scene and Vanna. Well, they are pretty nice. A great Louisianian buddy Pat S. C plus A clobbering. Does this cape go with my bikini top? Those outfits on those that was more torture than what they were doing to the troglodytes. What they were doing to their guards. Holy shit! The same lady who made the 5th Doctor's scarf made my scarf. Maybe you mean the 4th Doctor's scarf. 5th didn't have one. Made my bikini skirt yeah. That said, this episode sure was in color. Well, I do believe it was in color. Yes.
For those who
Steve Mitchum, take it easy, man. Okay, thank you, buddy.
Oh, Steve's leaving?
Steve yeah, take it easy, bud.
Good night, sweetheart. And please kiss Maddie for me.
Let's see here. Okay, I hope I'm not missing anyone. Everyone. Here we go. Phantom Outsider, C minus. Wish they hadn't cut the troglodyte singing hi ho as they headed into the mines. The deleted scene of Kirk telling Spock if he tells girls he's on a 7-year cycle, they'll be very receptive.
I like that he put the real Greek up there, troglodytes. Good for you, Phantom Outsider. Thank you.
Man. I'll get to the second part when I can get to it, brother. It's tougher to do that. to navigate that because I've been missing so many tonight, buddy. But I promise you I will. We will do to be continued on Phantom Outsider. Let's see here. Elagabalus D. I didn't know Kirk suffered from sleep apnea. That's all I have, folks. I'm spent. My droxine is starting to take effect. Yes. Did they show her navel? The horror.
That was such a good comment.
Know.
Love it, love it, love it. Just love it.
Eric K. D. How did they build this cloud city when they were living on the planet before?
Yeah.
I almost ranked it a double C for her, but even that could not bring this episode up. Why did Spock fall in love?
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. Maybe this episode takes like 7 years after a mock time. I don't think so, though.
No.
No, it doesn't, actually. I'm just kidding. Sandra, C. It's just not a convincing storyline. If the cloud population was that advanced, they would understand toxic gas.
Yes.
Good. Temps drop as altitude goes up. It would be way below freezing in the clouds.
Negating the bikini.
Yeah. What do you need a cloud city for anyway? Unless you're the Hawkmen from Flash Gordon. I mean, they can fly, so they're fine.
You also want to keep the children away from that balcony, especially toddlers, because that was a very dangerous looking balcony.
Yeah. Remember the dude just jumped off of that thing?
Yeah.
JT Kirk. D-. The Spock romance feels were way better in the Enterprise incident. Yes, they were. Yeah, it made a lot more sense. The way the city art and the underclass was done was so tacky, ham-fisted, and dumb. You can't buy into it. Frack core Trek.
Yeah. So say we all, JT Kirk. Yes.
Indeedishness. Chuck Marvel, I give it a B for concept, C- for execution, and an A for eye candy. Did I say that? You did say it, sir.
You're allowed.
And I could understand that.
Two very beautiful women.
Yeah, oh yeah. Let's see here. Then the after part where Spock was like, "Hey, Jim, you were right." I go, we only mate every 7 years. And she goes, nothing will change that. Fascinating, Kirk told you. Fascinating. There you go.
So good.
Jesus.
So good. I love our brilliant chat.
Oh, man. Some pieces keep. Let's see if we got any more reviews here, folks. Ratings. Oh, let's see. Also, Kirk making the admin. Let's see. Making the admin dig was great. Yeah.
I think Doug said something about that. I think I saw that in the chat. He said best line is when he looked at, he's like, dig. Yeah.
Take it easy, Ash. Good to see you, bro. See you
Ash,
soon,
you're
man.
Leaving?
Yeah. Take care, buddy.
I love you. Good night. Thank you for staying up with us. Have a good sleep, sweetheart.
Mark D with a C. 2 out of 5 moloids. Great story potential, but more bad season 3 writing. Social message was poorly handled. Spock pawn far. Shoehorned romance fail. But dress win. Yeah, the dress was nice.
That was wow.
Indeed, sir. Yes, that is. Yeah, I'm with you there, bud. See here. Phoenix Argus. C, for the treatment of troglodytes, and the Federation allowed a member to doing so going unanswered, ruined it. Yeah. That's 1 of 4. Oh my God. Well, I'll get to the other ones as soon as I can get to them, brother. Dave Bob, thank you, sir. All right, bud. Well, good to see you, Dave. Have a good night, man.
He's leaving as well. Good night.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Good to see you, bro.
This is not even appearing on my side of StreamYards.
Really? Weird.
Yeah.
I guess you could, I don't know, you'd have to like break out another window on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
Let's see here. This is Chris Persia. There we go. They blatantly used the flying city of Laputa from Gulliver's Travels, an inspiration for Stratos. Really? I was just shows me. I was I don't know. My default at the Flash Gordon, but I'm with you. The government floats over the rest of the kingdom to gain advantage over its subjects. 1 of 2. Yes, sir. Absolutely. The floating island is both a formidable weapon and an allegorical image that represents the distance between the government and the people it governs. Indeed.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, sir.
Some Lilliputians.
Lilliputians, indeed, sir. Let's see. Teapot Martin, was it? Is Roxine like the dioxin? Guys, I'm not going to even try to say it from. I love Red Dwarf. I remember. Never could pronounce the name you're talking about. I know the episode though. I think. Let's see here. Oh, like D Sade friend, the children shall lead. But we will cast it that way, sir. I guess we got all of the. Let's see. Oh, Loki says the Vulcans are supposed to be full of themselves and very private. They even nailed that in Enterprise. Absolutely, they slacked hard on this episode. Don't mess with a good thing. Hello, Discovery. Yes, it was way out of character for Spock. It made no sense. Absolutely, Loki. No question about it. Thanks, man. Let's see here. Oh, we got another one. The final one from Phoenix Argus. Did I miss one? No. Okay. Spock falling in love? Question mark. He's never been moved by looks, but by women that prove to be intellectual challenges. 3 of 4. Okay. Whoa. I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there.
So people are asking about who wrote this episode. So I'd just like to interject and let you know now that it's David Gerald, and he co-wrote it, and he wrote The Trouble with Tribbles. But what's more important is some of the comments on here that sort of get into the social science aspect of it. You should know that Oliver Crawford co-wrote this, and many of you will know that he is a blacklisted author due to his links or his alleged links to communism. So there, some folks had some questions in the chat about that, and I hope that answers your questions.
There you go. And yeah, I did note. I forgot to write down that David Gerald was credited in part of this script here. However, I will give it an A for eye candy and an A cup. There you go. Let's see if we got any more of these real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see. I think we got all of our ratings. I think we're up to date on our ratings. If we miss anyone, please let us know. Oh, one little quick aside. The great Mark D with the C did send me something. I believe it was Chuck Marble had mentioned that in Lights of Zatar, the thing about
there was a stack of newspapers.
Now it's tough for me to see this, but Mark sent me this picture, so we will.
Let me see.
Here it comes.
Where?
Below Spock's elbow. I can't really tell.
What? That doesn't look like a.
And I guess it could be. Look, I can't blow it up, folks. I have not on this picture. So I don't know, but I believe you.
I will blow that up later.
Yeah. So you can all go check it out. I can't do it here, but yeah, you can all check it out. So there you go.
Doug 35 just says.
Oh yeah.
F.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. By the way, yeah. R.P. Tony Katane. That's damn sad. I loved her.
That's David Coverdale's wife or ex-wife.
Passed away today.
That was the young lady who used to dance on cars.
Yes.
Or writhe on cars. It wasn't really dancing so much as it was writhing, but she writhed well.
Yeah, she was in Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks, among other things. Yeah, I love her. But yeah. So anyway, well, there we go. Look, everyone, I think we got through 5 tonight, and we did it quicker than we did the 4 last week.
Yeah, but it's because there's nothing juicy to talk about, you know. No. Like there are sometimes where you see corporate Trek, and it's just you get suck fatigue. So you just at a certain point, you know what I mean. What is there left to say, right?
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
You know, it's yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Was that Phoenix? Ardana should have been a potential member, and Kirk discovered the slavery. Yeah, they definitely should not have made them a member of the Federation. That was crap. So
Yeah, and
and then
that's what happens when the core walks away from the show and the corporation takes over. There's just all of these loose ends. Like I think Clobby said it right off the hop at the beginning of our show today, that this would not have passed the sniff test if the core members had have been around. If the people who made season 1 and season 2 were around, this would not have happened because they would have taken them to task for these silly things they were trying to say and do.
absolutely, and it's a shame. But again, we do have to it's still Trek, and it gave us the syndication package. So
Yeah, and that's
good
why
can
I
come
don't
from
hate
that.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I can hate a story, but I'm glad they made them. So let's put it like that. Yeah, absolutely. Quick show note before we say our goodbyes to everyone out here. Monday night on Clobbering Times, Monday night Mark C Comics Talk. It would have been Mark C's birthday this Monday. You know, our dear
Clobby,
departed friend.
I'm very sorry to interrupt you, but the Felicianos are leaving. So before we talk about Mark, I just thought you should know that they're leaving. They wanted you to know that they need to go to sleep right now. So thank you so much for coming, Felicianos. Good night. I beg your pardon, Clobby. Go ahead.
That's all right. Okay. Where were I? I don't know where I was anymore. But
you were talking about Monday night.
No one. Hello there. Good to see you, and you are someone. Monday night, Mark C Comics Talk. It'll be Mark C's birthday, and we're going to pay tribute to him. My good buddy Steve Mitchum will be hanging with me, and we're going to talk about one of his favorite subjects. Mark C's favorite comic book artist was John Byrne. And he and I used to argue about Byrne a little bit, but I have loved his work in the time. So we're going to talk about the career and the art of comic book artist John Byrne, legendary comic book artist John Byrne, as a tribute to our great pal, the great Mark C, as the great Gary with Neurotic calls him. So, and that's what we'll be doing Monday night, folks. Now, I cannot thank you all enough for another just fabulous, fantastic night. Of course, my amazing, extraordinary first officer, Raquel, and I just have so much fun doing this. We really love it. And you guys add so much to it by hanging out with us. And I can't thank you enough. We'll be back here next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Central with the last 5 episodes of Star Trek, the original series, season 3.
Yeah.
And then the week after that, we will start with Star Trek, the animated series, and we're looking forward to that.
Yes, we are.
So, and again, I don't know if any of you have watched that or whatever. I don't know how that's going to go down with everybody, or if anyone's seen them all or whatever. I know a lot of Trek fans do love to talk about that as well. And again, everyone, this is reviewing all of Trek, the 735 Club, as Raquel calls it.
Yep.
1966 through 2005. So next up, after next week, the animated series. So I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to shout everyone out real quick while we're on the way out here, because we love you all and you're all fantastic. The great Lord Thought was here earlier. He had the one. Get a shout out whether you're here or not. Yeah, whether you're still here or not, you get a shout out.
Yeah.
So the great Lord Thought was here. Of course, the wonderful Felicianos were here. Again,
Raymond has a new book. Raymond has a new book, and one of our producers, Eric K, just put up that URL in the live chat. So please support Raymond Feliciano's new book. And thank you so much, Eric.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for doing that. I was trying to find it myself to do that, but I appreciate you doing that, my friend. And there's someone else who has fiction that you can find, of course, and that is the great commander, my great commander and first officer, Raquel Briggs, of course. So,
thank you,
and
Clobby.
That is right here. There's a link for that. Oh, well, Eric beat me to that too.
He's great.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate
Thank you so much.
But yeah, so there are 2 links in there now for it. There you go. By the way, we had a great cameo by a good buddy of mine, and he helps me out so much. He's been such a great friend to me here on YouTube. I don't know if he's still there, but Loki, brother, I appreciate you popping in, man.
Yeah, that was so nice of you to stop in. It was great to see you, Loki, and thank you for for your comments in the chat. We always love to hear from you,
we
Loki.
appreciate you, brother. Hey, look, someone people like to pop in at the last minute sometimes.
They do.
The Nerdporeal life form, a new one. I like that name though.
Hell.
I like that name. So,
Yeah.
life. I'm gonna try and write that down so I can remember it. So, welcome for popping in. Welcome. Thank you for popping in, Nerd Portal Life Form. Okay. Let's see here. Snorta Poopas Cuber, we appreciate you, my friend.
Snortapoopus! And Snortapoopus said that he had a lot of fun tonight and
Thank you.
told us to have a great weekend. And Snortapoopus, Cuber, we love you.
appreciate you, Snorta Purpose. Of course, goes without saying, but it needs to be said anyway. The great Eric K. and Buddy, thank you
Yes.
again for some of the help all the help you've been giving me, bro. I cannot tell you enough or express enough how much I appreciate you, Eric K. We love you, bud. We thank you so much,
Yeah.
man.
You're the best. You and Chris, you guys do so much for us, and we really appreciate it. And just behind the scenes, you guys actually are producers of this show. You guys actually care about us and help us do so many things so that we can make this show as good as it can be, and to move this channel forward for Clobby. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, Chris, and thank you so much, Eric.
We appreciate you, brothers, and yes, Chris Persia, man, appreciate you, buddy. But man, wouldn't want to do it without you, man. It's so nice to come here, man. We appreciate it. The great Steve Mitchum had to run, but brother,
Yeah.
you got a shout out whether you're still here or not. Just the way I do it.
He's on daddy duty.
Yes, of course. The great Phantom Outsider, my good friend. Thank you.
You were funny tonight. You were really great, Phantom
Well
Outsider.
done, sir. Well done, Phantom Outsider. J-Man had to run, but my new friend J-Man, big shout out. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Dark Shadow Logan, we appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Great comments tonight.
Hey, JT Kirk, we really appreciate you hanging out with us, my friend. Thank you,
You were
so much.
hysterical tonight. Such great
Indeed.
participation. Thank you for being a part of our community. You're wonderful. You were so funny tonight.
Just another red shirt, my friend. I really appreciate that. He says, want to get you over. I thank you for that, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm happy just having a good time here, but that is I appreciate it. I know Chris and Eric and the wonderful Jennifer Cisco, who was over there, were really trying to help me with that last night. And you guys do not think, I couldn't express enough. Do not think how, I do not appreciate how much you guys were trying to help me last night over there at the FNT. Thank you, buddies. I really, really love you and appreciate you guys.
Yeah, love you guys.
Yes, indeed. Liger fan had to run, but shout out to Liger fan. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Ilagabolas, my friend.
Yeah, great comments tonight. Thank you so much for your participation. You were just fabulous in the chat. Thank you so much for coming by.
Indeed. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Phoenix Argus, thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
More great comments from you tonight, and the multiple comments. Just absolute excellent participation. Thank you so much.
Indeed. We thank you, and thank you, sir. Let's hear the great Pat S., my good friend in Louisianian.
He's great. He's so funny and Pat wonderful.
S. We love you, brother. Thank you, man. D. Bud Martin, a new pal and fellow comic shop owner. Thank you, Bud, for being here. We appreciate you, man.
Always has great things to say, and I'm so happy that you're here and that you joined us.
It would never, and I mean never, ever be clobbering times without the great Mark D with AC. You're one of the greatest friends of this show, and I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. Phantom Outsider, I'm not a big Mark Millar guy. I never read that comic much, but I will check that out. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the recommendation. I will give it a look. J.R. Bailey popped in earlier. Good to see you. I appreciate you for popping in, sir. Thank you so much. Brad Fisher. Shout out to you.
Yeah, Brad was here. That's so cool.
Thank you, Brad. Ash. I know Ash had to leave, but Ash, we appreciate you, bro. We love you, man.
Yeah, he stayed up so late so that he could stay with us. He's wonderful.
The great Rod Thunderheart. Don't know if you're still here or not, buddy, but we appreciate you, man.
Rod!
Thank you.
And stop by Rod's Twitter if you can, folks. If you love romance, especially told from a man's perspective, Rod writes romance novels. And so if you like that kind of thing, or you want to give it as a gift, it's really nice to support artists who don't have representation, who don't have big corporations behind them.
Indeed. Sorry. Your Muslim uncle. Thank you, buddy, for popping in. We always appreciate you.
Yes.
The beautiful and the magnificent Katie Carr was here. She had to run. Love you, Katie.
Yeah.
Polynesian Minion stopped in, I believe, and
With her
always
pupper.
with the pupper. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Polynesian Minion. We appreciate you. A new one popped in, Agent Decibel, I believe it was. And if I don't know if you're still here, but we appreciate you popping in. We appreciate everyone who stops by. Thank you. The great Dave Bob had popped in, good buddy, and fellow Losianian. Good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Matthew Pounder stopped by. Thank you, Matthew Pounder. We appreciate you. Draco Argentus was here earlier.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. The great Project Story Time, Josh.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure, buddy. Thank you for popping in. Pop culture activists. I think that's activists. Yeah, I think that's what they are. A guy named Deb, I believe. I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know that guy. Hail, Chuck Marble. Thank you for popping in, sir. We really appreciate you.
Good to see you, Chuck.
Dad Man Walking, the most disturbing avatar on YouTube.
Yes, this is so scary. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Doug 35, thank you for popping in. We appreciate you. The Catman, aka DD Myers. Thank you. And finally, no one who is someone to me. Thank you for popping in. I hope we covered everyone. If we missed anyone, always remember it's because I'm both blind and senile. But
Parrothead was here.
Oh, was he? I did not see Parrothead. When? Just now?
I saw somebody mention him in the chat, but remember, folks, on this side of StreamYards, I'm missing whole chunks of the chat. So, but I did see somebody bid him good night. So I think Parrothead was here, and JT Kirk said Agent Pepsi 1. Was Agent Pepsi 1 here? If Agent Pepsi at 23 minutes past the hour, JT Kirk, who is like an active member in our community, said Agent Pepsi 1 ?
Was she really here?
Yeah. So if you guys StreamYards is glitching tonight, but thank you so much for being here, and we never miss a call out or a shout out. So stupid StreamYards.
So was Agent Pepsi 1 here? I love Agent Pepsi 1.
I think so, because I tend to trust JT Kirk because JT around our community quite a bit. Oh, and did we call out Stephen Ernest?
I thought I did. Let me see.
Okay,
I may not have Stephen Ernest. Stephen Ernest. I'm so sorry about that. I may have missed that one. I knew you were here and we talked to him earlier. There he is.
Yeah.
Stephen Ernest. I'm glad you. Again, I love being able to get everyone, and sometimes I remember to. Sometimes I should say I forget to write it down, or I try to write them all down while we're on, so I could say, because I love all of you being here and I love mentioning everybody. Yes, the Nerdporial Live Forum. This is we're here thank you for the question. We're here every week at this 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, reviewing all of Star Trek, all of Real Trek. Next week will be the final 5 episodes of the 3rd season of the original series. And as I said, we'll go to animated series after that. But yes, every week, Saturday nights, Raquel and my great first officer, Raquel and myself, reviewing Star Trek. And so, yes, you'd love to participate. We would love to have you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And, what we do is we talk about the episode, we review it, and then we throw it out to our wonderful chat to give their ratings and their take on the episode. So we would love to have you pop in.
Yeah, and we said no one, and we said Dave Bob, right? No one and Dave Bob? Okay, good.
Absolutely. And an Asian Pepsi 1, if you did happen to be here, if you were here, I love you. You were a wonderful wrench over there for the great Doomcock and stuff like that. We love Doomcock. We love you. And if you popped in, I'm honored to have had you popped in, because she's a sweet, wonderful lady from down my way, sort of close by. So
good.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we got everyone. Oh, I got Dave Bob, buddy.
Oh, and Chris just mentioned something, and quite a few people mentioned it. I think Eric mentioned it earlier as well, but Chris is making sure we don't forget to say Happy Mother's Day. Oh, Canadian Spider-Man just walked through the door.
Canadian Spider-Man, what's up, brother? Canadian Spidey. Good to see you, buddy.
He just got the internet back. Oh, no. Well, I'm glad you stopped in, but yes, Chris Persia has mentioned it, so we should say this, that we want to wish all of the mothers a very happy Mother's Day, and thank you so much to the chat for reminding us of that. So hug your mom and tell her how much you love her and appreciate her. And if your mom is not with you, and I lost my mother quite a while ago, but just it's a nice day to remember where you came from.
Oh.
And if your mom is a great mom, it might be time for some flowers, maybe some chocolate, maybe brunch. You know.
Absolutely. Everyone have a wonderful. Oh, the Cisco Kid. I love it when people pop in the last minute. At least we can say hi to him. At least.
Yeah.
Cisco Kid. Hello there. Yes. Everyone have a wonderful Mother's Day tomorrow. Tomorrow to us anyway. I don't know. If you. I don't know if every country does it at the same time. What to do. So everyone have a wonderful Mother's Day, and we're going to say goodbye to you with our wonderful intro outro. Because I love it, and it gets me excited every time I see this. This is, of course, courtesy made by my fantastic first officer, the extraordinary Raquel Briggs. As you see, she's the greatest. Everyone, please give her a hand for this because it's a wonderful intro outro, and of course, with some technical help from the great Mark D with a C. Good night, everyone. Happy Mother's Day, and keep on trekking.
Good night.